state and then came back to the South Korea 2003. My first job is to carrying out the National Technology Foresight program. That's how I involving this Foresight business since then. So today I prepared about 3 subsections, but Nandip said we have to break once. So let me try to think about how to manage the time schedules. But just trying to give some basic principles how you run or think about strategic foresight. So feel free to stop me in any time if you have questions, comment. And then I'll little bit update my slide because in the last part I'm going to introduce what has happened in South Korea in terms of STI. Because we do have the new president last May, prior than the scheduled. So there's some reshuffling of the government structures, also some policy areas. So that's going to related with these digital economy initiatives as you have this session for this week. So.
Okay, so let me translate a little bit.
Oh, okay.
ก็ไปนะครับวันนี้ผู้เชี่ยวชาญของเราวันนี้ก็คือดร.พาร์คนะครับจากเซาท์กับเกาหลีใต้นะครับซึ่งเรารู้อยู่แล้วนะครับเรื่องของเกาหลีใต้ในเรื่องของinnovation อะไรต่างๆนะครับพี่แต่ว่าอยากจะให้ความสำคัญของหัวข้อตรงนี้ในแง่ของว่าอย่างที่บอกว่าบริษัทเราจะไปใช้ยังไงนะครับมันก็เริ่มจากอย่างดิจิทัลอีโคโนมีเราค่อนข้างจะที่เราคุยกันไว้ว่ามันจะกว้างใช่ไหมครับเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยจะนำไปสู่การ implement จริงที่แท้จริงมันก็ต้องเริ่มจากความคิดนะครับซึ่งวันนี้ก็จะมาสอนเรื่องไอ้ที่เขาคุยกันเรื่องของ Foresight เข้าไปนะครับแล้วอยากจะฝากไว้อีกนิดนึงก็คืออย่างผมเนี่ยคุยกับคนเกาหลีบ่อยนะครับเขาเองไม่ได้ปลื้มกับสิ่งที่ผ่านมาเขาก็ยังจะพูดอยู่เสมอว่าทุกวันนี้เขาจะต้องทำอะไรปรับเปลี่ยนแผนยังไงมีปัญหาอะไรอยู่เสมอนะครับก็แปลว่าไอ้ strategic Foresight พวกนี้มันไม่ใช่ว่าทำแล้วจบมันก็มีทำแล้วก็มีการเปลี่ยนแปลงอยู่เสมอโอเค
First part of my talk is about trying to persuade you you have to see longer terms than you usually do. Trying to explain why, trying to give some rationale of the strategic foresight. I got this slide from the World Bank site. It's a GDP of the Thailand since 2060s. So up to now, probably about more than 400 billion US dollars. But question is, what would be the next? There is a scenario 1, continued growth, hopefully, and then highly probable, I guess. And then 2 is the stagnations, you just say there. I mean, because at that time you have the big dip here during the Asian financial crisis here. And then there's number 3 is the worst scenarios, but anything is possible, I guess. I mean, what I'm trying to say is the hope is different with the realities. You have to try hard to achieve this hope. But normally people believe the 1 is the high probable, you believe, but that's not the case. This is the slide I got from the PW. Here is the South Korea. Number 13 in the world in the 2016. And then 2030 is South Korea is the one ranking down. But unfortunately, 2050 is South Korea going to be 18th in the world. But same is true, seems like. In the Thailand case, number 20 is at the moment. But as time goes on, in the 2050s, the situation got worse. So, forecast is different what you want to achieve. So which one is right or correct? I mean, definitely you don't want to falling down in terms of rankings, but basically the amount of your GDP is increasing. Right now it's the 11, it's the 17 and 27. So you can see the graph goes right upper hand, but ranking is falling down. But in contrast, the Vietnam is totally different stories. At the moment, Vietnam is only less than half of your country's GDP, located in the 32 here. But 2030, it elevates its ranking to 29th, but in the 2050s, it's going to be 20th. So close to South Korea, but higher than the Thailand. It's just a forecast. So what's going to happen? Basically, the hidden assumption of this forecast is the current condition is still work until 2050s. Right now, the GDP growth for Vietnam is more than 5 to 6%, which is nearly higher than the rest of the Asian countries. South Korea right now, the expectation of GDP growth this year probably 3.0, better than expectations. I mean, the semiconductor business is nearly hierarchy at the moment. But I don't know what the Thai situations. So there's gaps between your hope and then forecast based on current assumptions. So you have to doubt about this assumption is correct or not. Is there any chance to changing the environment, these assumptions, to having better futures? I mean, this is why you have these economy workshops here. So you have to see what is happening in the environment, and they're trying to change those conditions to achieve your goals. That's the basic goal of the strategic foresight. This is the basic rationale of this workshop for digital economies. One of the reasons why this situation is going to happen is this assumption of the demographic changes. Here is South Korea. Maybe this is right now. Let me start with the South Korea case. In the 1960, the population of South Korea is about 30 millions. Okay? And it's going to be reached the maximum about 51 million or 51 or 53 million year 2030. But interestingly enough, 2100, we are get back to the 30,000 again. So just 1 century, almost 20 millions up and downs. But this situation is quite similar to the Thailand case. As you see here, the population in the year 1950s, about 20 millions, going up and going down. So this is the pyramid, population pyramid. There are a lot of youngsters here, but get aged here, and then finally end up like this, bell shape, pretty straight bell shape types. South Korea is the exact same. Right now, total fertility rate in South Korea is 1.18. So we are losing the populations at the moment. Last year, the population for production ages is reached the maximum and they're going down. But Vietnam case is totally different. There's almost no difference between three countries, but year 2100, they're going to reach about 110 millions, more population than Japan's. It's some kind of destiny. I mean, the people who research the population is destiny, isn't it? Huge gaps, almost 50 to 60 million population difference between Vietnam and Thailand and South Korea. So this is one of the key contributors to changing the GDPs, the labor. I'm a little surprised to find out these ones, but still, we assumed current assumptions, current conditions going to continue up to 2100 years. To see or to foresight futures, you have to change your mental mode, how to see the futures. This is the Beijing model by Jim Data from University of Hawaii. He's the friend of Alvin Toffler or something like that. He's quite old, but kind of Hawaiian hippie still, I guess. He nearly like the bike at the moment. People normally believe the society or economy going to continue the growth. This is our belief, and we hope so. But we know this is not the case in the histories. Normal history is kind of repetition of this collapse and the survival, something like that. So case of the Thailand economy or nation state, you can see a lot of collapse and then resurrection of the historic case. Same is true the economies. Somehow in between, there's some discipline case. So somehow, if you reform or innovate your countries in many aspects, you're going to transform. In long history cases, from agrarian society to the industrial, right now we are some kind of information society. These are kind of transformations. But it totally depends on what you do in the coming years. So if I give the some board, do you know the apples, isn't it? It's a long history of the making the good innovative product. Right now, highly lucrative business they actually operate in, cellular phones, other ones. Do you believe the Apple going to continue to grow or somehow collapse? As you see in the histories, before Steve Jobs died, Apple stock price dropped down, then revived again, but they still grows continuously. This is what you see Amazon case, but how long? So in terms of enterprise, in terms of countries, one of the pros going to have this pro. So let me give it a both. Okay. How do you think about the?
Let me translate it
Sure.
first and then ask them to answer your question. โอเคครับวันนี้เขายกตัวอย่างให้ดูเรื่องของ strategic foresight ก็เอาค่า GDP มาให้ดูนะครับก็จะเห็นว่าเกาหลีก็จะตกลงนะครับประเทศไทยก็จะตกลงนะครับอีกประเทศหนึ่งก็คือเวียดนามจะเพิ่มมากขึ้นนะครับและในปี 2050 ก็จะแซงประเทศไทยไปได้นะครับซึ่งเขาขยายความให้ดูต่อไปว่าเหตุผลตรงนั้นน่ะก็คือเรื่องของประชากรอย่างเดียวเลยนะครับก็คือพูดง่ายๆคือทั้งเกาหลีและประเทศไทยจะคล้ายกันก็คือว่าเราจะไปกลายเป็นสังคมผู้สูงอายุนะครับก็คือคนทำงานจะน้อยลงนะครับเป็นตัวหนึ่งที่ทำให้อีโคโนมิกมันดรอปลงมานะครับในขณะเดียวกันเข้าใจว่าทางเวียดนามเนี่ยจะไม่เหมือนกันนะครับมันก็เลยพอในกราฟเมื่อกี้ก็เห็นว่าหางของเกาหลีจะสูงกว่าของประเทศไทยนะครับคราวนี้เขาก็นำเสนอ4โมเดลของอนาคตนะครับโมเดลตัวที่1ก็คือว่ามันโตไปเรื่อยๆ continual growth ก็คือโตไปเรื่อยเป็นตามนิยายเลยคือว่าอันนี้ก็มีความเป็นไปได้ยากไม่ออกมาคือโตไปเรื่อยๆไม่มีวันหยุดนะครับหรือจะเป็นแบบที่2อันนี้ส่วนใหญ่จะเห็นในธรรมชาติแม้กระทั่งเศรษฐกิจของเราคือมันโตไปสักพักหนึ่งมันจะร่วงลงมาแล้วเดี๋ยวโตใหม่แล้วก็ร่วงลงมานะครับก็คือแบบที่2ก็คือโตสักพักแล้วก็พังลงมานะครับหรือจะเป็นอย่างที่3ก็คือโตไปลดลงมาหน่อยแล้วก็เสถียร stable เหมือนในยุโรปจะค่อนข้างจะนิ่งไปไม่มีอะไรเกิดขึ้นเพราะว่ามันจะนิ่งแต่ยังพอสู้ได้ก็ยังไปเรื่อยๆนะครับหรือจะเป็นอย่างที่4ก็คือมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงนะครับหาเหมือนกับหาปัจจัยในการที่จะเติบโตได้ใหม่นะครับก็จะเป็นตัวอย่างที่4คราวนี้เขาก็มีคำถามว่าทุกคนคิดว่า Apple เนี่ยรู้จัก Apple ใช่ไหมครับในโทรศัพท์มือถือเนี่ยนะครับบริษัทนี่พูดถึงบริษัทนะคิดว่าจะเป็น1 2 3 4นะครับโอเคyou want me to ask them to raise the hand for มีใครคิดว่าจะเป็นเบอร์1บ้าง Apple โตไปเรื่อยๆนะเบอร์1 no number 1เบอร์2ยกเยอะๆหน่อยครับมี2-3 คนโอเค3เบอร์3 4-5 คนเบอร์4โอ้ เชื่อกันหมดโอเค so
Okay, let's do the same question about Samsung case.
ซัมซุงโอเคเอาเหมือนกันเบอร์หนึ่งของซัมซุงนะครับอันนี้เปลี่ยนบริษัทนะฮะเปลี่ยนเป็นซัมซุงนะครับคู่แข่ง Apple โอเคเบอร์หนึ่งครับยกมือขึ้นใครว่าเบอร์หนึ่งซัมซุงเบอร์สองครับเบอร์สองไม่มีเลยเบอร์สามเบอร์สี่ I think the same yeah
The problem from the South Korean perspective about Samsung is that probably we may see this one. I mean, if you go to the Japanese enterprise like Sanyo or other companies, they experience these huge dips and then stay there. Samsung is quite do the good job at the moment in terms of their portfolio. They do make semiconductor. It's called the device part. They do also they make a television set, cellular phones. We call the set divisions. So it's balancing out. There are time when the semiconductor sell well, and then next wave goes the set. So it's balancing out. So it's not that easy for Samsung to collapse down like this one. But problem is they had a little struggle to find a new product or service at the moment, comparing with some Googles or Amazons or Apple, something like that. Then mostly it comes from these digital technology revolutions, more software side than the physical product. Okay.
Okay. Can translate. โอเคเขาบอกว่าจริงๆคนเกาหลีเนี่ยเชื่อว่าซัมซุงเนี่ยจะเป็นเหมือนเบอร์3เหตุผลหลักก็คือว่าเขายังคิดว่าซัมซุงเนี่ยยังคงติดอยู่กับของที่เป็นชิ้นๆที่ยังไม่ได้เปลี่ยนให้เป็นเซอร์วิสเหมือนกับ Google Facebook Amazon แล้วก็ Apple ที่พยายามที่จะเปลี่ยนไม่ใช่ขายแต่ฟิสิกอลแต่ขายเซอร์วิสมากขึ้น
This is the typical problem of the many of the Asian companies faced at the moment compared with some Americans. Also, that's why the German started their own digital transformation program. It's called Industry 4.0. The German is quite good at in manufacturing side. About 25% of their GDP comes from the manufacturing, but mostly physical-based ones. So they nearly worrying about the convergence between this manufacturing and service. That's why they initiate this Industry 4.0, which was started in 2006. It's one of the items of high technology strategies initiated by the government. So I believe they are quite right on the track, but we will see what is going to happen between the European companies and the American companies. And then South Korea and the other Asian countries kind of in betweens.
โอเคก็เขาก็บอกว่าความจริงเนี่ยเหมือนกันก็คืออย่างกับซัมซุงหรือประเทศในเอเชียนะครับก็คือว่าจะติดปัญหาเรื่องนี้คือเราเป็นผู้ผลิตนะครับเป็นจีนหรือเซาท์โคเรียนะครับเรายังข้ามไปเซอร์วิสไม่ได้นะครับซึ่งปัญหานี้ทำให้เยอรมันเนี่ยนะครับพัฒนาไอ้ที่เราคุยกันอะไรนะ Industrial 4.0 ขึ้นมาเพื่อที่จะผสมผสานนะครับด้านอะไรนะตัวสินค้ากับเซอร์วิสเข้าด้วยการใช้เทคโนโลยีเข้ามานะครับซึ่งเขาก็บอกว่าก็ยังตอบไม่ได้ว่า success หรือเปล่าก็กำลังดูอยู่โอเค
So basically the world is full of surprise. There are names for describe this world. One is the VUCA. It's the acronym of the volatilities, uncertainties, complexities, ambiguity. I'm going to explain more in the following slide. But other one says it's the tuna world. Okay. It's not the pitch nations, but same, turbulent, uncertain, novel, and ambiguous. In either way, it's okay. But keyword is uncertainties and the complexities. That's why you need Foresight, because the world at the moment in the future is the full of uncertainties and the complexities. trying to explain how to deal with this one in your policy making or some decision making in the enterprise today. To understand this complexity and uncertainties, you need some kind of frame, how to see, how to observe, how to feel your surroundings, environment. In this slide, there are two components. One is the system, which you are belong to, is your world. And the outside, we call the environment. Okay. This boundary is the key problem in the system theories, but it totally just assumed there's a boundary between your system's environment. So in this figure, there are 4 interactions that's possible. One is L11, which interactions between someone inside of your systems and yourself. Okay? There's another interactions which L1 to 2 from your side to the environment. That is called planning. You're going to change the environment by your own wills or plan, something like that. And the third one is L21, starting from the environment and going to your systems. We call it learning. Okay? You foresee, trying to understand what's happening. Last interactions, which is the L22, that's happening in the environment. But problem is, you do not have control over these L22s. So basically, strategic foresight means you're trying to understand what is happening in the environment which you do not have control over. This L11, L22, L21 is the basically transactions. Somehow you are involving these transactional systems. But L22 is the contextual is changing, but still you don't have control over. So strategic foresight is just a combined word between strategy plus foresight. So you foresee what is happening in the environment, trying to find the opportunity and threat. By adopting strategy, you want to influence your futures. It's quite simple. The primary reason what you do in the foresight is trying to understand these L22 interactions. Trying to understand what is the change in terms of context of their complexities, their uncertainties.
โอเคก็นิ่งเขานิยามให้ได้ดีนะครับเพราะว่าเมื่อกี้สไลด์ก่อนหน้านั้นเขาจะคุยว่าปัญหาของโลกปัจจุบันก็คือเรื่องความไม่แน่นอนนะครับที่ทำไมเราถึงต้องมาทำ Foresight กันและนิยามของคำว่า Foresight เนี่ยก็จริงก็เป็นเรื่องของพยายามที่จะคาดเดาสิ่งแวดล้อมนะครับแล้วก็การเรียกว่าอะไรนะปฏิสัมพันธ์กันของสิ่งแวดล้อมนะครับว่ามันคืออะไรนะครับคือเราพยายามจะคาดเดาตรงนั้นไม่ใช่ว่ามามองว่าองค์กรเราจะโตไปเป็นอย่างไรนะครับแต่เปล่าเป็นการคาดเดาว่าสิ่งแวดล้อมที่เราอยู่นะครับมันจะเป็นอย่างไรนะครับจะเห็นว่ามันมี entity แล้วก็มีลูกศร2อันด้วยแปลว่าอะไรมันต้องมี interaction กัน2อย่างนะครับแล้วมี interaction กัน2อย่างว่าใน environment เป็นอย่างไรขอบคุณมากครับ
So this L22 called the scenarios, isn't it? There are many scenarios going to happen in the future, trying to find the opportunity threat. So let's go into the detail. This is what you normally see. This is your system, this environment. So this board or your situation is quite stable. Even there's some shock or some stimulus to these boards, they're going to roll and backward and forward here. But somehow the surrounding environment going to change, is flat. They eventually they're going to reach here. At the moment, you are located in the valley, but some time later, you are on the peak of the mountains. Okay. This is what you see. You just believe the future might be same as today, but suddenly, this contextual, the environment is changing. I do understand this digital economy is this kind of environmental change. People believed, people do know, technology developed, but nobody expect the speed, what this range of the impact of the digital technologies, as we see recently. From this kind of AI, artificial intelligence, or big data, this impact going to happen, supposed to happen 10 years later. But this acceleration of technology is totally changing what you experience at the moment. Some company or some nation foresee, detect these signals. They change the strategies, trying to adapt or exploit. Some country quite lag behind. That's what I'm talking about, the Samsung's case I'm worrying about. Okay? So, external environment change rapidly and unpredictably, making leaders look silly. They propose something, but quite based on older paradigms. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. Trying to understand that this abrupt change is environment, I'm going to introduce some of the concept. It's not full coverage of this post-site business, but I want you to remember there's an element for you to understand. First one is the black swans. Everybody knows about that because of these books. Okay, it's called the extreme event. So Nassim Taleb described black swan event, the surprise, some socio-economic impact, and then you don't understand a priori. You don't understand after something happened. So for example, for Europeans, swan should be white. But when they go into Australia, they suddenly find out the swan is black. So, for Europeans, the black swan is like extreme case. But for Australian, it's normal things. They do see. So it depends on which side you belong to. Depends on how you understand this contextual environment. Something can be black swan event. Something can be just normal event. And secondly, it's not the Nassim Taleb says, but black swan event sometimes is the good things. For examples, the smartphone is kind of black swan event. It takes a longer time, but if you go back to about 100 years ago, nobody knows about this device. We talk to your friend. You do see some movie clips. You do gamings. You do watch the movie, or navigations, and the cameras, whatever. So it's kind of black swan event to the endorsements. But only difference between the good black swan event and bad one is the bad one takes shorter time than good black swan event. Technology going to take a longer time. Okay, the automobile car, is 100 years old, more than. Cell phones, 2008, Apple introduced these iPhones, but about 1995, something those areas, Nokia already has those concepts. They do have one of the company who has the patent on iPhone or this smartphone at the moment. So longer time takes to having good black swan event. But bad one, it takes a matter of times. So building the house take maybe 1 year, 2 year, but destroying this house, just you need 1 day. So if you have the longer time span, there's no difference between the good and bad black swans. It's a matter of your time frames. So do not narrow it down that this definition of the black swan for bad things. Why? One of the explanations for black swan is that this is a Gaussian distribution. So if you're tossing this coin, head and tails, so each event is independent. So every time you have the head, it's a half, tail is another half. So this is the Gaussian distribution. Many of the economic theories or the social science based on these assumptions. Totally independent, totally rational decision makings. But we do know that's not the case. That's not the case. That's one of the reasons why Thaler got the Nobel Prize in economics, isn't it? The human involvings. Human is not rational at the moment. So there is a big long tail here, which gives us interactions between the before and after, or between the components of societies. Black swan is like that. People believed to calculate the risk of the nuclear power plant. Based on this calculation of the risk, you can have the insurance amount. According to the Japanese people, the nuclear power plant accident going to never happen, but it happened. It's quite often. Why? This is the cool accident. Okay. I'm trying to explain the extreme event in terms of complexities. There are many definitions about complexities, but simply, just like a number of components in the motions, if you're using these normal telephones, the number of components is quite small. But right now, you do have these cellular phones. There are a lot of components inside. If you go to the automobiles, if you go to the satellite, there's a more component inside, the more functions. Maybe you may call it complexities increased at the case. There are many jobs. Comparing the United States and South Korea, maybe the United States has more than twice of South Korean job descriptions. They are more specialized. Okay? So it's called the society get complex. Okay? Maybe a number of organizations, for example, inside of government, about 2,000 years ago, the ministry might be Defense Ministry or Interior Ministry, only two, and the kings. But right now, you do have the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Science, something like that. So the number of organizations increased. Why? You want to solve the problems. 2,000 years ago, the Ministry of Interior solving everyone's. But as time goes on, problems become difficult. There's more stakeholders inside. So they designate one ministry to solving these education problems. Isn't it? This is how humans solve the problem they're facing at the moment in the futures. Complexity increased, and they solve the problem.
Okay. Let's be translated before you go further. เขาอธิบายปรากฏการณ์ที่เรียกว่าอะไรนะหงส์ดำหรือไงไม่ใช่หงส์แดงนะหงส์ดำนะแต่ว่าคือเป็นปรากฏการณ์ที่เขาเรียกว่าไม่ได้เกิดขึ้นบ่อยเป็น rare case นะครับแต่ว่าเขาบอกว่ามันก็มีทั้งปรากฏการณ์ที่ดีอย่างเช่นปรากฏการณ์ที่มีโมบายโฟนนะครับถ้าไปมองว่าเมื่อ100 ปีที่แล้วมันไม่มีอันนี้ก็เป็นตัวที่ช่วยนะครับหรือบางครั้งก็จะมีปรากฏการณ์ที่ในเชิงที่แย่อย่างเช่นในโรงงานนิวเคลียร์มันระเบิดมานะครับเกิดการรั่วไหลขึ้นมานะครับทั้งหลายทั้งปวงเนี่ยจริงเหตุการณ์เหล่านี้เนี่ยโอกาสที่จะเกิดโดยหลักการแล้วต่ำมากนะครับแต่มันก็เกิด นะครับขึ้นอยู่กับว่าเราจะคอยให้มันเนิ่นนานขนาดไหนว่าง่ายๆถ้าเขาบอกยิ่งให้นานก็ยิ่งเกิดนะครับอย่างเช่นมองไปอีก50 ปีจะต้องมีเทคโนโลยีใหม่เข้ามานี่เดาได้ว่ามีแน่นอนนะเพราะว่ามันเป็นไงมันนานมันจะต้องมีอะไรใหม่เข้ามาแน่นอนนะครับอะไรก็จะเกิดขึ้นได้นะครับอันนี้ปัญหาของมันก็คือว่าทำไมเราถึงคาดเดาไม่ได้นะครับหรือมันเกิดขึ้นได้ยังไงเขาก็ให้ความหมายเขาว่าคำว่า complexity ก็คือความที่ระบบมันมีความอะไรสลับซับซ้อนนะครับมันมีการเชื่อมโยงของสิ่งต่างๆในระบบเยอะแยะไปหมดนะครับจนทำให้มันเกิดตัวนั้นขึ้นมานะครับแล้วเขาก็พยายามจะยกตัวอย่างให้ฟังว่าเนี่ยเวลาที่มนุษย์เราเนี่ยแก้ปัญหาเวลาที่ปัญหาเริ่มมีความซับซ้อนมากขึ้นนะก็จะพยายามจะแก้ปัญหาให้ยกตัวอย่างอย่างเช่นบอกกระทรวงอะไรนะมหาดไทยของเขาสมัยก่อนก็ดูแลการศึกษาพอต่อมามันช่างเยอะขึ้นเรื่อยๆก็ต้องแบ่งออกไปนะครับเพราะความต้องการทางสังคมมันไม่ใช่แค่อ่านออกเขียนได้แล้วมันต้องการเรียนรู้วิทยาศาสตร์คณิตศาสตร์อะไรต่างๆนั้นนะครับก็จะเบรกออกมาเป็นอิชชูนะครับโอเค let's continue
So if you increase the complexities, you're solving the problems linearly at the moment. But if you put more complexities, the return is not proportional to your input. It's less than your input. The law of diminishing marginal utilities, as you see in the economic textbook, you can see these complexities. At the maximum point here, if you're adding more organizations, more registrations, more people, more monies, sometimes you're frustrated because problem is not solved. You stay there. This is the experience right now. Maybe my country faced at the moment. I guess the Thailand, maybe not the different stories. There are a lot of government initiatives, a lot of government projects, but situation is the same. You're spending more money, having more organization, that means is that you increase the complexities, but return, you stay there. Sometimes return going to be negative. Why? People use this for investment material for bribe, that some others in my pocket, something like that. So it's a detrimental to your societies. So if I have the analogies, okay, you have the 100cc, the internal combustion engines. If you put the fuel about 200 cc's, still this engine only consumed 100 cc's. Additional 100 cc's fuel going to waste it or corrupt your systems. So without changing your systems, this additional increase of complexities does not work.
Okay, that's conclusion นะโอเคก็ขยายความอีกทีความหมายเขาว่าเหตุการณ์ของเราเนี่ยหรือเหมือนมนุษย์เหมือนกับประเทศเนี่ยครับพอสังคมเรามันซับซ้อนขึ้นเรื่อยๆนะครับเราก็จะสร้างนี้ที่ยกตัวอย่างที่กระทรวงออกมาใช่ไหมแต่ก่อนกระทรวงมหาดไทยดูหมดเลยแต่หลังก็แตกขึ้นมานะครับคือทำให้เรามีกระทรวงทบวงกรมเยอะขึ้นเรื่อยๆนะครับนี่เป็นการสร้างอะไรความซับซ้อนให้กับระบบการจัดการภาครัฐของเราสมมตินะครับมันก็จัดการได้มันก็ดีขึ้นเรื่อยๆแต่ขณะเดียวกันมันจะดีขึ้นไม่ใช่ว่าเพิ่มไปเรื่อยๆพอมาถึงจุดหนึ่งไปแกการเพิ่มความซับซ้อนไม่ได้ช่วยอะไรนะครับตรงข้ามประสิทธิภาพจะแย่ลงนะครับเขายกตัวอย่างผมขอยกตัวอย่างเมืองไทยแล้วกันเหมือนกับกระทรวงศึกษานะครับโอ้โหไม่รู้ปฏิรูปการศึกษากันมากี่รอบย้ายยังไงกี่โครงสร้างนึกออกไหมแล้วเราก็จะบอกว่าการศึกษาไทยเป็นไงมันก็แย่อยู่เหมือนเดิมเพราะว่าปัญหาอะไรมันคอมเพล็กซ์เกินไปแล้วนะครับมีโครงสร้างมีสปทมีโอ้โหมันรู้มีกี่หน่วยนี่หรอใช่ไหมแต่มันแก้ปัญหาได้ไหมมันแก้ไม่ได้นะครับเพราะมันเกิดความซับซ้อนเกินไปแล้วนะครับโอเค
At the same line of discussions, the complexity of the subsystem, they do not evolve at the same rate. For example, if you see in the nationwide, the GDP is increased, but if you go into the differ, maybe the rich and the poor, the GDP for the rich, GDP for poor is gap widening, isn't it? The urban area GDP between the rural area GDP going to wide. In the bottom slide, one of the subsystem going to increase, but other the subsystem is going down. So gap between the subsystems get widening and widening. It looks okay in overall complexity is increased, but in go in detail, the gap is widening. Actually, this is what we see in the world. Gap between the rich and poor in terms of countries, in terms of classes. So combining together, I'm trying to explain what is happening in the Fukushima accident. The complexity of technological development is increased and increased. But problem is the risk management. They put the wall, the block, that is tsunamis, but interesting enough, they put this secondary generator below the sea levels. So when the earthquake size of 9 hit the oceans, this tsunami come across this defense wall and make this generator disabled. So complexity of technical systems and the complexity of the human managed system is the widening and widening. So something happened. The human made system doesn't have the capacity to handle these ones. Another example, for example, 2007, the global financial crisis. Due to the technological development, the financial system, there are a lot of short time trading, isn't it? If you invest $1, the leverage out maybe several hundred times more. So in the field, the money-making scheme, the complexity of the money-making schemes, the trading system is the more complex, something like that. But from the pure viewpoint, they do not have enough tools or legislation to handle this complexity of the near world. So suddenly, the subprime mortgage got initiated this crisis. Without this subprime mortgage, eventually going to burst out. This just the event happened. In the previous slide, the complexity gap widening and the complex overload seems like a changing this environment. So at a certain point, external shocks, small wind, going to change, going to system collapse, going to evolve in the different situations. This one is quite safe at the moment, but you do not perceive changing the environment, and that eventually cause the collapse of the systems. If you are clever enough, you are quite smart enough to see, to perceive the change in the environment, it increases the chance of survivors. Longer the better. But there is a conflict between the short and long. I'm going to discuss more in the later slide. Okay? So, would you explain and then?
โอเคครับเราก็คืออย่างที่เขาพยายามยกตัวอย่างให้ฟังนะครับว่าไอ้ความสลับซับซ้อนเนี่ยนะครับพอเราพยายามที่จะสู้ด้วยการสลับซับซ้อนเพิ่มขึ้นไปเรื่อยๆนะครับพอถึงจุดหนึ่งมันเป็นไงมันเบรกดาวน์ลงมามันประสิทธิภาพสู้กันไม่ได้นะครับอย่างโรงงานเนี่ยที่เขาออกแบบมาเพิ่นว่าปัญหาคือว่าโรงงานเนี่ยมันอยู่เขาเรียกอะไรนะอยู่ใต้ระดับน้ำทะเลนะครับเขาไปทำกำแพงสูงขึ้นนะครับก็เผื่อไว้แล้วล่ะแต่ว่าเผอิญอันนี้มันเกิดสึนามิมันก็ใหญ่ขึ้นไปอีกนึกออกใช่ไหมมันก็ไม่สามารถจะเผื่อที่พอมันข้ามไปปุ๊บระบบอื่นๆมันก็พังกันไปหมดเลยนะครับอันนี้ก็คือความซับซ้อนแล้วก็ยกตัวอย่าง 2-3 ตัวอย่างนะครับแต่ว่าไอเดียหลักๆก็คือว่าถ้าเวลาระบบที่มันซับซ้อนมากขึ้นเรื่อยๆนะครับมันก็ยิ่งทำให้อะไรมีโอกาสที่เกิดขึ้นมากขึ้นโอเคครับ
Next one is the cognitive bias. There are many heuristics about these ones, but one of this article I found out on the YouTube and they're quite interesting. The novule is a small size of tissue, like this one. Okay, can be quite harmful, but can be source of your cancer, lung cancer. So radiologists use this X-ray scans trying to find out these nodules. Okay. So this is a chest CT images. Can you identify any nodules? Small things like this one. Okay. If I move on to the next ones, it looks like this ones. Can you identify something strange? Easier. Can you see this one? What is this? Gorilla. This is about 50 times larger than normal nodules. But interestingly, if you go to the radiologist, they're showing that these CT scans, trying to find out something strange. The result is quite interesting. This is the eye trackings of the radiologist. They're trying to here, but definitely go into some details, find out these small size ones. Okay, this is about 78 or 80% of the radiologists do not identify these gorillas, even though it is about 50 times larger than normal size of the nodules. Definitely, normal people do not understand, do not find out these gorillas, but even for experts, has missed identify these ones. So no, almost 90% do not see these ones, but even experts cannot identify these gorillas. Because your mental model forces you find out these small sized nodules. It's called the inattentional blindness. This is what you be aware about, what the expert says about futures. Because they talking about futures based on their own mental models. Economists see the future in their own ways. Sociologists see the society in their own ways. But this experiment says attentional blindness is out there. Second cognitive bias I am quite interesting is the speed about change, the rate of change. In the left-hand side, there's the fast train, or the decibel in France. In South Korea, we call the KTX. Kind of we borrow the decibel and make Korean ones, so same way up. So fast train, definitely you cannot get on, surely. It's too fast. The speed might be almost 300 kilometers per hour. It's a bullet train, we call it. But in the right-hand side, it's a, how do you call that? If you go to some amusement parks, from the gate to some place, you can use this one. We call some elephant train in South Korean case. But you do, I'm quite sure you do have the similar ones. But interesting enough, for the slow trains, still you cannot ride one. Why? The next slide. For example, left side is the population changing. Starting from the age 0 to the current ones, but only population growth is half in last 100 years. It's exponential growth. It's a long-term changes. But what you see is on the right-hand side. Normally, politicians see it's a linear. It's 18 to 24 months. Their time window is exactly the same as their political terms. The short-termisms get involved in these ones. So we do know something happened. For example, climate change. We do know it's near, actually happened, but takes a long, long time. So we just discard. It's not my business. Okay, my next generation is business. Every country has their own Foresight programs. I do know many of the European Foresight, national Foresight. Also, I have involving OECD, the CSTP, so Committee for the Science and Technology Policy Programs. I am the Korean delegate. They do have the government Foresight programs. But everyone in the Foresight complaining, not complaining, but they do see the politician is the problem. Not the problems, but their time window totally depends on these political cycles. South Korea is the same. We do have the president, 5 years, but one term only. Only one term only. You not able to get re-elected. The constitution says only one term only, 5 years. So their time horizon, just right after the elections, 5 years, and then shorter and shorter and shorter. They're trying to achieve just within 5 years and maximums. But many of the problems we are facing at the moment is longer than that. I mean, for example, digital economy or digital technology revolutions, I just suspect it's going to take another 10 years from now on if you want to see the widespread realizations. But they're trying to achieve it too soon, too quickly. So basically, you ruin the systems. Get the complexity is the overload is happening. The gap between the two systems get wider and wider. We're stuck into some situation at the moment. Also adding that this cognitive bias makes the situation worse and worse.
โอเคคราวนี้เมื่อกี้นะครับกลุ่มนึงก็เรื่องความซับซ้อนนะครับวันนี้ก็เรื่องประเด็นที่2เขาพูดถึงเรื่อง cognitive bias ก็คือแปลเป็นไทยว่าไงดีก็คือเหมือนกับการที่เราจะสังเกตเห็นนะครับสังเกตเห็นเช่นเขายกตัวอย่างว่าบางครั้งเราจะเห็นไม่หมดนะครับในพื้นที่บางพื้นที่เราจะไม่เห็นที่เขาก็ตัวว่า expert ก็จะใช้ประสบการณ์ของตัวเองเป็นตัวฐานหลักนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นสิ่งที่ expert พูดก็อาจจะไม่ตรงทีเดียวนะครับแล้วก็ที่เขาก็ให้ดูอีกตัวอย่างหนึ่งใช่ไหมครับก็คือคณะวิทยาศาสตร์เนี่ยก็นอกจากเมื่อกี้เขาเอ็กซเรย์ให้ดูเนี่ยนะครับคือดูพื้นที่ใช้ประสบการณ์ขึ้นมาเราวิเคราะห์แล้วเนี่ยมนุษย์เราเนี่ยจะมีปัญหาเรื่องของเวลานะครับมนุษย์เขาเรื่องของเวลาเพราะว่าอะไรอย่างวิทยาศาสตร์เนี่ยตอนนี้ที่บอกโลกร้อนเนี่ยนะครับคือในช่วงหลังเนี่ยมันขึ้นแบบนี้เลยนะครับแต่เราไม่ได้มองเป็นอะไรเป็นแบบนี้นึกออกใช่ไหมเราไม่ได้มาพอดกราฟเป็น1 ล้านปีนะครับเราจะเป็นเหมือนนัก politician นี่แหละดูกัน2 ปี 3 ปีมันก็ไม่ได้อุณหภูมิก็ไม่ได้สูงขึ้นเท่าไหร่นะปีละ 0.1 องศามันก็ไม่รู้สึกอะไรหรอกนะครับแต่ถ้ามาดูว่า100 ปีที่ผ่านมานี่เกิดอะไรขึ้นก็จะเป็นอีกแบบหนึ่งนี่คือ cognitive bias ซึ่งสร้างปัญหาในการidentify ปัญหามากกว่าในการที่จะตรวจพบว่าอะไรเป็นปัญหาต่างๆนะครับโอเค
So this is what happening in the environment, and we do not have enough capability to foresee or to understand or to perceive this rapid change. But anyhow, we have to decide right now to change in the futures. So next one, I'm trying to connecting this foresight and decision makings. It's really difficult to having right decisions. There are many reasons. One is the acceleration of the changes. So for a decision maker, only small time is allowed. You have to decide. Secondly, there are information deluges. There are too many informations. Right now, this post-truth politics is based on, I guess, the New York Times or something like that. Typical example is the Trump. You can see a lot of tweet. Most of them is a lie. Okay, some post-picture things. Thirdly, due to the increasing complexities, every problem becomes wicked. There's no right solutions, 100% solutions. So think about the current your societal problem is once your society solutions 10 years ago. But time fast, the solution become problems. South Korea, same. We do achieve economic growth based on catch-up principles. Right now, catch-up doesn't work. For example, China catch-up faster than South Korea did. We're trying to move on the post-mover, but totally different principle going to apply. Current Thai problem, I believe that it's the same. It was one solution for your societies, but right now it becomes problems. The connectivity keeps the non-linear relationship, so somehow emergence you may face. At the same token, the former success formula doesn't work anymore because context is changed. Also, political short-termisms definitely prefer instant reward than long-term benefit. So everything combined together is quite to give the headache to the decision makers. This one is in the bottom. We call the Pandora box. I got it from the European Union, some slide. There are too many informations from research, academy, industry, and even citizens. For a decision maker, they do not have enough time, enough capability to ponder over to having sober decisions. Because they just based on limited, some averaged informations. You cannot give them the 100-page recommendations. They just need 1-page recommendations. But if you're getting shorter and shorter, the details is lost. Same word as 10 years ago, but context is different. But you cannot describe this changing of the context in these short-term papers. So connecting these two ones, there are too much simplifications. Also, there's an intentional information distortions there. Statistics is good, the principle or this principle, but I can make any data you want to see. It's totally up to you, your intentions, to massage or manipulate the data. So the huge gaps between the decision makers and then the policy advisor givers here. This is some of the problems here you may face. So what you do is that you're trying to do some local optimization. For a Minister of Defense, they optimize for themselves, solving problems. For a Minister of Education, they solve the problem within their systems. We call this siloed systems, isn't it? It's a mostly top-down, planned way, expert-based ones, because the problem was the simple at the times. But I keep describing you the environment, the change. There are a lot of complexities and the uncertainties there. So this top-down way or local optimization does not work anymore. It's just based on linear relationship. That's what we assumed, but that's not true. So we have to change this frame from local optimization to the search, expand running, or participating, something like that. The graph looks like just one straight way from the linear optimization to the search, but it's not that simple as it looks. Here,
Can you go back a little bit? I think I better explain this. Okay. เขาก็บอกว่าวิธีการในการที่จะ handle ไอ้ environment ที่เปลี่ยนแปลงเนี่ยนะครับ ถ้าเรามองเป็น local optimization เนี่ยคือการปรับปรุงภายในนะครับ พยายามที่จะวางแผนนะครับเชิญ expert มาปรับปรุงอะไรนะครับจะเรียกว่า silo effect คือเราได้อยู่ในภารกิจของเราบริบทของเรานะครับเขาเสนอก็คือว่าใช้วิธีการ search คือกว้างขึ้นความหมายคือว่าลองทำมี experiment search แล้วก็ลองทำ experiment เรียนรู้กับสิ่งที่ได้ทดลองนะครับแล้วอาจจะมาขยายผลเพิ่มมากขึ้นหรือว่าไม่เวิร์กก็กลับไป experiment ใหม่แล้วก็ทดลองใหม่อีกทีนะครับมันก็จะเป็นได้ผลที่จะกว้างกว่าคือระบบจะ open มากขึ้นนะครับมากกว่าที่จะไปคิดเป็นแบบเป็นองค์กรอยู่แคบๆแล้วก็ทำอะไรโอเคครับ just next
so I do not have much knowledge about Thailand. So I'm just trying to give you some Korean examples. For example, in science and technology area, about 2000, there's only one ministry has run their own R&D project. No, 1980s. Okay, it's a Bureau of Science Technologies. And then government put a lot of money into the STI because that is the way to develop your country. You have to invest on these knowledge creations. And the other ministry is to jump on this R&D project. So right now, total 31 ministries or bureau has involving these R&D agencies. The complexity is deepened, okay? But what they do is that they do optimized within their ministries. So from the national viewpoint perspectives, the coordination failure, one of the key concerns at the moment. There are a lot of overlaps in terms of investment, a lot of overlaps in terms of legislations. They still believe in old success model of top-down, expert-led, linear way of investment going to increase the knowledge creation productivities. But that's not the case, what we observe at the moment. There are many tries to reshuffling this governance system of STIs, but has failed because this political system is just 5 years only. And then someone tries but gives a lot of backlashes, does not solve the problems. So just the one line between the local optimization to the search and commit, but it's not easy. This is the place where the strategic foresight come into play. This is just a simple definitions. Strategic foresight is a combined word, strategy and foresight. In terms of the component, there are many things, but at least 3 components is there. One is definitely you have to anticipate what's happening in the futures. So it's a discipline of the future studies. They're normally dealing with the uncertainties because that you do not know that which is not happened yet, isn't it? You just guess. Secondly, Normally this portion, this component is not count here well, but participations. Every new CEO or new minister comes to place, they make their own visions. But 1 year later, new CEO comes in, he makes his own. It's keep repetition of the vision buildings. Why? Because this vision is not for the organizations. It's for himself or herself. Personal visions. So if you're talking about national ones, every people in the nation should agree on these vision buildings. What your country want to achieve or go there. Especially the participatory policy making definitely need these ones, but it's not easy. If you give me the 10 brightest people in the government, I can make a national plan for the talent. Normally, that's the government do. They force the task force and they make plans. The smart people, about 10, is enough. But it's not the people's visions. It's their visions. Okay? Thirdly, the policy makings, action is the one of the key element. You don't know Alvin Toffler or John Naismith? They do published books about futures. For Alvin Toffler case, future shocks or next information society, something like that. It's the future studies. But they do not have power to achieve what they wanted to do. Policy making, especially in the current policy context, is the new things. If you dream about some desirable futures, you have to do something right now to achieve the future desirables. So three things have to combine together. But not all of them is necessary for one project. For example, this week's workshops for digital economy is about future studies. You're trying to understand what's happening in terms of digital economies. Okay? You're trying to see what is the challenges your countries, your organization face in the coming years, about 5 or 10 years. But it's not about policy makings. It's belong to the government. Some of I do know that some of you work at the government, but you have to make the law. You have to mobilize the people by investing monies. So just a part of the strategic foresight actually exercise at the moment. So this is the typical cycle of the foresight to the decision makings. Here, we call the strategic intelligence, or in terms of companies' language, business intelligence. If go for some technology company, we call this the technology intelligence. Okay, or competitive intelligence is the same word. Trying to find out what is happening in the horizon, which nearly meaningful to your strategies. And then you're trying to make a sense out of it. Okay, something happened in the local area. Does it make sense? Does it relevant to you? For example, in the global trend, there is some digital technology is rapidly developed. The digitization you may see at the moment, but you have to ask, does it any meaning to me? Any meaning to your nations? Any meaning to your companies or your families? Something like that. You have to make a sense it should be relevant to your purpose. And then followed by policy options, and then leading to some policy makings. I'm quite sure this arrow is not guarantee you automatically connecting these 5 elements. This task is quite difficult, but connecting these 2 tasks another difficulties. Be careful, because every stage is involving different stakeholders. Each stakeholder has the different interest, different incentive system is the workings. For example, for efficiency of the government, I have to abolish the one of the ministries or merge. In the upper terms, everybody agree about those ones. But in the personal level, I totally object because my job is lost. Actually, that's happened. I mean, there's always winner or loser at the surface. So Foresight going to having 3 aspects. One is the informing policy intelligence. Foresight does not mean decision making. It's the long way to go. Okay? You force the future, what's happening, does not guarantee you to actually executing these ones. It's the same as if you make the report, does not guarantee for the government actually carrying out those ones. So another ones. So introduce the longer term perspectives, some new challenges, opportunities, or threat, or something uncertain.
Professor?
Yes.
How does the sense making, how do you deal with the issue of cognitive bias and inattentional blindness in that?
If I ask, okay, let me ask you, ask back, okay, what is the best way to get the future knowledge if there's 2 options? One is the expertise, and the secondly, diversities. The experience tells that you have to go for the diversity at first, trying to mix up with this expertise in the local levels, then let them talk each other. At that point, you need some kind of frame or template or schemes to talking to each other. I do have the experience having technology Foresight program for bioinformatics. I recruit one guy from brain scientist. He do understand how the brain works. You do have the chemical signals, it's firing, and the transfer to the electric signal into the other part. And other participant is the psychologist. He do understand brain in full set. So seems to be 1 + 1 might be sometimes 0, sometimes 10. But I nearly had the difficulty. Let them talk to each other. The language is totally different. The way of understanding how the brain works also different. So at least I need 3 months to understand what the 2 of them to own, even in the terminology case. So I strongly recommend, based on my experience, to having diversity first. But for a facilitator of the Foresight project, should have to provide. He don't need to be futurist, but he should know how this cognitive bias is working, how to get imbibed. So you have to have some frame, force them, talk or ponder this project matters. And then secondly, I do have the last slide. I mean, for example, if you go to find out some global trend report, this report normally produced by big countries, ones who have operate their colonies, For example, United States, UK. Yeah, UK is a difficult case. And this is the one case. But another part is small country also quite active in the foresight in the governmental levels. Typical example is Singapore, but Finland and the Sweden also has the quiet government, the foresight capabilities. They want to survive, surrounded by these big players. But be careful about when you interpret it, their global trend report. For example, if you go to the United States global trend report, there is no environment in there. The United States, the American believe the environmental problem can be solved by technologies. So the list of the global trend, there's no environmental problems. Even the Trump is a distract from the party, the climate change treaties. But if you go to the European case, it's totally different stories. So be careful. Do not believe the global trend report, which is produced by these big nations. Secondly, even though there's something out there in the environment, impact on your nations or society is totally different stories. A couple of weeks ago, I went up to the Vietnam. I come to here. For Korean, we do not know well about these Southeastern Asian countries. For example, the report from the Singapore, they do have a lot of national security issues there, like terrorism or some other things. But in South Korean case, we do not worry about that much of the terror because that's just the long history of the histories and then just the one peoples we share in the common languages. So providing meaning, sense making, is totally depends on your context. Totally depends on context. Secondly, you have to asking for outsider give some advice to the meaning of this global trend. When you run these foresight ones, external view is nearly important. Internal inside has their own mindset, their own way of interpreting these signals, so be careful. But I keep saying it's quite fuzzy, but as the facilitator of the strategic foresight, there is the way to help you to understand what is happening, those ones. So facilitating, if I go to these ones, is the participatories, those ones.
Okay, hold on. Can you go back to slide? Okay, one more. One more. Okay. อันนี้เขาบอกนะครับว่า strategy foresight เนี่ยนะครับก็คือต้องมีอยู่ประมาณ3 action นะครับหนึ่งก็คือเรื่องของ future study ก็คือดูเรื่องความไม่แน่นอนที่จะต้องศึกษานะครับเป็นมิติไปนะครับตัวที่สำคัญอีก2ตัวก็คือว่า participation คือการมีส่วนร่วมนะครับมีส่วนร่วมในที่นี้หมายความว่าคือเรา foresight คนเดียวไม่พอเราต้องชักจูงคนอื่นด้วยให้คนอื่นเข้ามาช่วยคิดหรืออย่างน้อยก็ต้องให้ความเห็นร่วมกันได้ไม่งั้นจะไปไม่ได้นะครับและสุดท้ายก็พอได้มีคนเข้าเห็นร่วมอะไรมันก็นำมาสู่การมี policy action เกิดขึ้นนะครับก็คือ policy making แล้วก็สร้าง action ขึ้นมา Can you move one slide please นะครับอันนี้เขาก็เลยเสนอนะครับเป็นไอเดียว่าการทำ foresight มันจะช่วยในการทำกำหนดนโยบายยังไงนะครับอันที่1ทางขวาบนใช่ไหมก็คือเรื่องของการเป็นข้อมูลนะครับเป็นข้อมูลจากผลการศึกษาเนี่ยนะครับมันให้เห็นภาพยาวๆยังไงมีอะไรที่เป็นแนวโน้มที่น่ากลัวหรือแนวโน้มที่ดีหรืออะไรก็ว่ากันไปนะครับจะเป็นข้อมูลขึ้นมานะครับแล้วเขาก็ย้ำคำว่า sense making ก็คือการมันต้องแบบคือมันต้องไม่ยากอ่ะคือเข้าใจดูแล้วอันนี้คือปัญหาของเราจริงๆนะครับคือความจริงต้องเรียนให้ทราบอย่างยกตัวอย่างประเทศไทยเนี่ยนะเราคุยกันว่าสังคมผู้สูงอายุมาชาติหนึ่งอ่ะ นึกออกใช่ไหมแต่เราไม่เคยพยายามที่จะ make sense ว่ามันคือปัญหาอะไรวะตกลงมันเป็นปัญหาอะไรใช่ไหมครับนั่นก็คือความหมายว่าตรงนี้คือ sensing ว่าโอเคนะจะต้องทำให้เขาเห็นให้ได้ว่าเอ๊ะมันสร้างปัญหาอะไรขึ้นมานะครับเพราะพอถึงปุ๊บพอมาเข้าใจคือทุกคนเข้าใจกันแล้วว่าปัญหาคืออะไรอย่างง่ายๆเนี่ยก็ต้องมาทำการอะไร facilitate social dialogue ก็คือขยายนะครับคือ participation เมื่อกี้ที่คุยกันนะครับให้ทุกคน agree on ว่าจะต้องทำยังไงเป็นยังไงกันนะครับแล้วเสร็จแล้วก็กลายเป็นว่าพอมีนโยบายคือตอนแรกก็ test policy option ก็คือพูดง่ายๆก็คือเราบางครั้งเรายังไม่รู้ว่าจะแก้ไงก็ไปลองเทสโยนไปให้สังคมช่วยตอบช่วยคิดช่วยกันทำอะไรนะครับสุดท้ายก็ไปสู่การสร้างเป็นนโยบาย decision making ขึ้นมานะครับแล้วก็พยายามที่จะอะไร win support ก็คือพยายามที่จะให้คนมาเห็นด้วยนะครับโปรโมท commitment นะครับก็คือพยายามที่ทำให้อะไรให้สนับสนุนเป็นระยะยาวนะครับไม่ใช่ว่าเปลี่ยนกันง่ายๆนะครับก็จะเป็นลักษณะของ Foresight ตรงนี้โอเค sorry
So this is a generic procedure of the Foresight. I mean, it depends on the consulting companies. They do have the several steps. I mean, some do have the 10 steps. Some do have the 6 steps, something like that. But basically, this 3 element is there. I mean, first one is the horizon scannings, trying to see what is to happen in the coming futures. You want to see the socio-economic changes, trend, the wildcard, something like that. So we're trying to convert information to the knowledges. The second one is the main process, is the Foresight. So kind of reinterpretation of the social changes on the specific context. So normally, the decision maker give you the project, okay, what is the future of the education in Thai? This is the project title of the Foresight. Horizon scanning, normally kind of constant activities or one-time activities, but normally horizon scanning is constant activities embedded into the systems. And then suddenly decision maker give you the project. Okay, what is the future of the digital economy of the Thailand? Okay, project-based ones. The final product of the Foresight normally has the vision in there, but you don't need to. But if you have the visions, definitely go into the third stages. It's the strategy and action plans. So if you go to some case studies, for example, the United States, the National Intelligence Council produced Global Trend Series every 4 years. Why every 4 years? Because it's related with their elections, president elections. So suppose they report the new president-elect. Normally, November is their president elections, and after they got elected. But before the inaugurations, this NIC report, okay, you are going to govern the country for 4 years, but this is what the United States is going to face in the coming 15 years. So it's called Global Trend Report. Listen to the report about Global Trend 2035. But in there is only horizon scanning is there. They scan through all the aspects of the United States going to face coming 15 or 20 years. There's no actions, no strategy in there. 2 reasons. Because in the United States, the intelligence community does not have what they willingly not involving in decision maker. So basically, if you run this intelligence ones and they report to the president or prime ministers, probably first question you're going to have is okay, what should I do? Okay, this is the first question you're going to get from the decision makers. But at the same time, the United States intelligence people just stop to involving giving the advices because it does guarantee you the objectivities of your analysis. So that's why they report only dealing with the horizon scannings. Another case is the Finland case. Finland is also quite strong. The government Foresight project there, the programs in there, is the normally number carried out by the Ministry of Economy or Labor, helping with the Prime Ministers. But in the Parliament, they do have the Committee for the Futures. So they counteract each other. The Prime Minister has the 4-year, but if you get elected as the Prime Minister, it's a kind of become mandatory. You have to publish the Foresight report to the Parliament. It's not mandatory. Any law says you have to run the long-term perspective, vision building process to the nation. No one says. But kind of become customary since 1993. So sometimes they're covering all the subjects. Sometimes they only covering some specific project. This Finland 2030 was published, I guess, the 2013. But it involving everything. Horizon scanning, Foresight, also strategies in there. So the title of the report does not tell you the report has all 3 elements or only 1 element. If I'm adding for a South Korean case, we do, in the historical case, we do have the 5-year economic plans since 1960s. We do not make any more, but mostly focus on this side. Because the basic strategy for South Korean economic development is catch-up. Catch-up means you do have the models, like Japan or United States, something like that. We do have some industrial visions already out there. So in that sense, we nearly focus on the right-hand side. Even though I'm working for the Policy Institute, we call those fields like policy engineering. The problem is given already. We do know what to do to having better education system, better infrastructures, or finance systems. You have to solve the problems. But right now, situation is different because some of the problem we do not have any benchmarking case anymore. I guess Thailand is going to be similar case. From until now, you may see that some other countries benchmarking case. But right now, every problem become quite specific to your countries, isn't it? So moving from the strategy to the horizon scanning, you have to cover all of them at the moment. So each phase can be independently carried out. And the second meaning is that quite about 5 or 10 years ago, every Foresight run by government covering all the topics. But right now, it's kind of become theme-based one, like a future of education, maybe future of digital economy, like a theme-based one, focused on, narrow down. And the horizon scanning is right now is kind of booming. Every government. The running the Foresight and the strategy cost a lot of monies, activities also. But still they want to see what is the weak signal you have to face. So they're shifting a little bit the way to the horizon scanning to see what is happening outside your organizations or your countries. So they're trying to formalize these ones, make a formal process or a formal organization inside the government. I mean, definitely you do have some intelligence, the organizations for security reasons, but right now they expand toward the economics and some other technologies. So in summary of this slide, one thing is the generic procedure Foresight consists of 3 components. Each component can be independently carried out. Each one has their own values. Okay. So C, be careful about interpret the reading some Foresight report. even though title says everything, but in detail going to be different. And suddenly, recent trend is trying to institutionalize writing scanning into the government systems, at least. This is the benchmarking done by the Kirsten Cole. She is in the Fraunhofer Institute for Systems Analysis. I do find the South Korean case because I do interview did by her. So South Korea is kind of, let's see, in the x-axis is the broad participation and then expert. And the y-axis is the indirect application based on Foresight and then direct application. So direct, indirect. South Korea is located here. So kind of expert top-down way. Also quite linked to the executions they judge. Also, I do find out interesting Thailand. The someone, I guess, in your country has been interviewed by her. So I agree. I mean, South Korea might be here, but how do you think in the Thailand case is the right way, right position? The direct link, also a lot of participations. I don't know, but I'm just curious about this.
Well, I think probably right because I think Thailand we voice our opinion. Okay. We have a good press. We have a freedom of the speak, so quite broad, yes. Okay. But most of the time we lack of expertise. So broad participation, but little expertise. All right. Probably. All right. We basically like students, voice opinion, yeah. Okay. But not good teacher.
I spent about an hour and a half, I guess. So why don't we have the break until 2:45? So you do have about 12-minute break. Okay. It's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's come in the 2:45. Thank you for your attention.
นะครับก็คือจริงเขาจะเป็นใช้เวลามาสักหลายครึ่งชั่วโมงแหละอธิบายว่าทำไมถึงทำ strategy foresight นะครับก็คือเรื่องของ complexity นะครับแล้วเรื่องของ cognitive bias นะครับอะไรต่างๆอันนี้ที่เขาเสนอก็คือว่าไอ้ strategic foresight เนี่ยแบ่งเป็น3โซนนะครับอันดับที่1ก็คือเรียก horizon scanning ก็คือเป็นการเช็คนะครับว่ามีเทคโนโลยีอะไรใหม่มาบ้างมีการศึกษาตรงนี้ก็จะเป็นการศึกษา study นะครับ uncertainty ต่างๆที่คุยกันตรงนี้ที่จะเข้ามานะครับเสร็จแล้วก็จะมีส่วนของการทำ foresight ก็คือมามองในบริบทของประเทศนั้นๆหรือองค์กรนั้นๆนะครับว่าไอ้ผลของ scanning เนี่ยมันจะมีผลยังไงในบริบทขององค์กรหรือประเทศนั้นๆนะครับแล้วก็นำไปสู่ strategic planning นะครับเขาก็ยกตัวอย่างให้ฟังอีกนิดนึงก็คือว่าอย่างในสหรัฐอเมริกาเนี่ยเนื่องจากเป็นที่เขาบอกแล้วระบบการเมืองอเมริกาจะทำแค่ไอ้ตัวเนี้ย global trend ก็คือ scanning อย่างเดียวเป็นหน้าที่ของ president มา4 ปีก็ต้องไปทำเป็น foresight ขึ้นมาเองแล้วก็ทำเป็นแผนอะไรก็ว่ากันไปนะครับระยะสั้นระยะกลางระยะยาวนะครับถ้าเป็นประเทศอย่างบางประเทศอย่างเช่นฟินแลนด์อันนี้ก็ทำครบหมดเลยทำ3 ตัวนะครับคนนี้จะขยายความให้เราเข้าใจนิดนึงก็คืออย่างประเทศไทยเนี่ยเราอาจจะไม่ทำ horizon scanning หรือเปล่าเราไม่รู้แต่ว่าเรารู้กันมานานแล้วว่าอะไรครับเราจะเกิดสังคมผู้สูงอายุถูกไหมเคยได้ยินมานานไหมตอนนั้นได้ยินมาพอสมควรนะตั้งแต่ผมจำได้ว่าตอนที่ผมกลับจากเมืองนอกเนี่ย 1.8 คนนะ2 คนออกลูก 1.8 คนทุกวันนี้เหลือ 1.2 แล้วนะสูสีกับเกาหลีเลยนึกออกไหมแต่ว่าเราไม่เคยเข้าใจว่าอะไรแล้วมันเกี่ยวอะไรกับปูวะนึกออกไหมแล้วมันจะมีผลกระทบยังไงในภาพว่าจะเป็นปัญหาใช่ไหมเพราะว่าถ้าไม่เข้าใจปัญหาตรงนี้แล้วจะนำมาสู่อะไรการแก้ตรงนี้ได้อย่างไงใช่ไหมครับเพราะเราจะรู้แต่ว่ามันมีส่วนใหญ่จะได้ยินว่าโอเคธุรกิจในอนาคตต้องไปไงของผู้สูงอายุเนี่ยเดี๋ยวตลาดจะเยอะมาร์เก็ตติ้งจะเยอะถูกไหมอันนั้นก็ไปว่ากันไปแต่ว่าปัญหาในเชิงสังคมที่เราจะเกิดขึ้นกับสังคมผู้สูงอายุเนี่ยไม่ค่อยมีคนได้พูดถึงนะใช่ไหมครับว่า ถ้าคนเนี่ยมีพ่อแม่2 คนมีลูกคนเดียวดูแลกันยังไงเนี่ยแต่งงานกันไปมีพ่อแม่4 คนมีลูกคือครอบครัวเดียวโอ้โหจะดูแลไหวไหมเนี่ยหรือไม่ต้องทำมาหากินกันแล้วใช่ไหมครับไอ้ปัญหาอย่างนั้นทำอย่างไรนั้นการจะดูแลสังคมผู้สูงอายุจริงคอนเซ็ปต์ง่ายๆนะทำยังไงก็ได้ให้ลูกไม่ต้องยุ่งหรือให้ลูกยุ่งน้อยที่สุดกับกลายเป็นอย่างนั้นเองถ้าจะ translate ปัญหาออกมาให้เป็นชิ้นๆนะครับแต่ก็ตรงนี้ก็เล่าให้ฟังไงว่าปัญหาของประเทศไทยก็จะไม่มีคนพูดถึงนะครับเพราะว่าเราไม่ได้ดู foresight อะไรพวกนี้นะครับยกตัวอย่างอีกอันหนึ่งที่บอกว่า self driving car ใช่ไหม self driving car คุยกันมาเนี่ยคุณดานดีฟโชว์ให้ดูว่ามัน new technology coming มาแน่นอนใช่ไหมครับโอเคนี่คือ horizontal scanning ใช่ไหมแล้วเป็นไงอ่ะจะมาแทนแท็กซี่อ่ะแล้วจะเกิดปัญหาอะไรไหมในสังคมตะวันตกตะวันออกบอกแท็กซี่ไม่ค่อยมีเยอะอยู่แล้วไม่ค่อยเป็นปัญหาอะไรแถมแพงอีกตั้งหากนึกออกไม่เยอะแยะอะไรแต่ของเราที่แท็กซี่เป็นไงบ้างอ่ะโหฐานเสียงนักการเมืองเลยนะนึกออกใช่ไหมโหเต็มไปหมดเลยแล้วก็โหคนพึ่งพาย่อมยอมรับนะว่ารายได้เขาก็ดีมีเยอะต่างๆเหล่านั้นในเมืองยังเป็นเมืองท่องเที่ยวอีกถูกไหมนะครับที่คนตรงนั้นเพราะฉะนั้นตรงนี้มีผลกับสังคมเลยใช่ไหมครับแล้วถ้ามันเป็นรถที่ขับเคลื่อนอย่างที่บอกเซลฟ์ไดรวิ่งคาร์มาจะมีปัญหาอะไรถูกไหมนะครับเพราะจะมีปัญหายังไงแล้วเราจะไปทำยังไงทำ strategy action ตรงนี้ได้อย่างไรใช่ครับนี่คือสิ่งที่ต้องคิดใช่ไหมครับนี่คือการทำforesight ทั้งหมดนะครับว่ามันจะต้องประกอบด้วย3 สเต็ปนะครับ3 สเต็ปแล้ว translate ออกมานะครับแล้วก็ can you move one more back นะครับอันนึงที่น่าสนใจone back โอเคตรงเนี้ยที่เขาพยายามจะสำคัญที่สุดเขาจะเน้นนะครับคือเรื่องของอะไรครับการมีส่วนร่วมนะครับการให้เข้าใจว่าเทรนด์ตรงนี้มันมีปัญหาอะไรแล้วจะเกิดอะไรขึ้นนะครับอย่างของเราตอนนี้เราเกิดแล้วรัฐธรรมนูญเราจะมียุทธศาสตร์เกิดขึ้นถูกไหมนะครับแต่ว่าจะไม่ค่อยมีส่วนร่วมเท่าไหร่ประชาชนจะไม่เข้าใจว่าทำไมเราถึงต้องทำรถไฟความเร็วสูงทำไมต้องอินฟราสตรักเจอร์ยังขายกันไม่ได้หมดใช่ไหมแต่ว่าไปอยู่ในรัฐธรรมนูญเรียบร้อยแล้วถามผมเราก็จะมิสเต็ปเรื่องพวกนี้เพราะตรงนี้สำคัญมากในเรื่องของ participation นะครับโอเค go back
Okay, I do have an few slide because this workshop is for me like horizon scanning activities, and then trying to increase your capacity to understand foresight, and then if you get to your organization, there's a good seed for actual learning foresight ones. So horizon scanning is basically a systematic outlook to detect early sign of potentially important development. There are many cases. I just trying to explain briefly. In Singapore case, the RAS, risk assessment horizon scanning, is the government-wide activities, mostly focused on security issues. Singapore case is a little bit exceptions, in terms of foresight, government-wide. It's a nearly system embedded into systems. It's signed from the prime ministers. For a Singapore case, they build their national scenario building early 1980s. The prime minister has their own strategy group. Inside of strategy group, they have the Center for Strategic Future Studies. Also, they quite invest a lot to having their own tools to see. They send email for this horizon scanning to outside. I'm the one of the recipients. I asked the government official to put my name on, but one of the interesting thing is that for me, I do not aware about what is happening in the Southeastern Asia, but this newsletter says about what the Malaysia are doing, what the Indonesia are doing, the surrounding the Singapore case, sometimes adding the North Korean problems, also India, China, which impact on future of the Singapore. So they scan a lot. They're trying to summarize about the 5 sentence. So sometimes they're sending me the text scan about technology, sometimes political things. So really interesting what's happening here. So this one is they do have the build. At least about 5 years ago, they do have this customer horizon scanning system having about 30 peoples, also about $5 million case, I guess, in their project. So a lot of ones, but this one. So if you go to the College of the Civil Servant, they do have the list of some Foresight publications here. Another one is the Canada. They do have the Polish Horizon Canada under the Prime Minister Office. If you type in the Google link, the Canada and the Polish Horizon, they actively involving these horizon scanning ones, but depends on who get the power. I mean, conservatives or progressive part, the fate of the Foresight organization is the fluctuating. Normally, conservative party has the power. These activities go down. So it's a quite political process. Okay, but this Polish Horizon organization, they do have the Foresight project, also horizon scanning. The Metascan is one of the typical examples. The Metascan 3 is on emerging technologies, but Metascan 4 is about future of Asia. The title is the future of Asia. So have a look at how the Canadians see the future of Asia. Okay, so I intentionally put these ones, and then it can be downloaded if you go into the Polish Horizon contest. The UK government is quite strong at this one. In the government level, they do have the Office of Science under the Ministry of Industry. They do have the different name, Ministry of Enterprise, something like that. They keep changing the names, but normally it's the Ministry of Industry, Innovations. Under this ministry, they do have the Office of Science. The chief scientist is in charge of learning this Foresight one. Also, they do have the up and down, depends on who get the power. This is the one, but they do have the typical Foresight, also horizon scanning, but this one is the report of the horizon scanning. Name is the Artificial Intelligence Opportunity and Implications, something like that. So it's like a technology horizon scanning report. They keep publishing out. Another one is from Ministry of the Defense. It's the DCDC, doctrine or something like that. But it's contained while the UK Ministry of Defense see the futures. Time horizon of 2045. Over 30 years, one generation later. Actually, I met one of the colonel from this institute come to South Korea, interview me, asking how the South Korean thinking about AIs. So even though he's a military personnel, quite interesting feature of the technology, also impact on some defense systems. So it can be also downloaded it, okay? But time horizon is quite long. It's one generation later, 2045. Korean government, we do have the big data centers. It's the Ministry of Administration. The National Big Data Center, they do have interest in data mining, and they're trying to get some insight. But I do not fully believe in big data, because big data is about old ones, isn't it? It's not about futures. It's about current and then past. So you need still insight or sense making, how this one imply to the development of the future ones. Okay. There are some private company. It's INO. It's made by Rafael Popper. He's starting from the European Union framework programs, and he made his own companies. So if you go to the INO, there are a list of many categories about horizon scanning. Is that innovation, Foresight, and horizon scanning community, something like that. Okay. Also, Shaping Tomorrow is the commercial ones. His CEO is the Mike Jacks. He is located in the Philippines. Okay. So he utilizing the AI, and every week he crawling down the data about 3,000 different websites based on some report or news, something like that, and they make a shot using the artificial intelligence. So my institution has the subscriptions, and the other, maybe OECD, the other ones is quite having this one. So basically, you don't need to make the people to look through these papers or report. This machine can do the basic initial works. Okay, so relatively cheap based on what they provide to us. And then some international organizations, I mean OECD, they do have the government. One is the personnel, it's the Strategic Foresight Council to the Angel Gurria at the moment. This guy come from the Paris Horizon Canada, the Duncan. They have the small groups, but they run the government foresight communities, GFC. I'm the one of the members, but every twice a year, they do have the gathering in Paris, dealing with some challenges the OECD plus or the observer country has faced at the moment. So if you go there, they do have the publication. Also adding other area like STI Outlook also has they changing from the data getting to the providing insight right now. So different context. Also European context at the SPAS, the European Strategy and Policy Analysis System, they do have the horizon scanning also. So one of the good things to visit here, they do managing the repository of the foresight report. You can go to here, maybe at least 700 different foresight report you can download it of the list. So this is just a pure list of the horizon scanning site or organizations, but you can find more. So what they do, some terminology here, okay, the weak signals, just to see these of things, some yellow papers, some small news on televisions, is so weak. So most time it's just discarded, just die away. If they get a momentum, we call the emerging issues here. And then finally become a trend. So currently digital technology is a trend, but if you go back to the 10 years ago, it can be emerging issues. If you go back to the 20 years, probably wild card, not weak signals. Wild card is like extreme event. Okay? Out of blue, you can see something happen like Fukushima accident, but depends on how you see. So there are trend analysis out there. You may heard about global trend report and something like that. But at least what I believe is that you may read about 5 books on global trend or some 5 books on global trend from different country. You may able to talk like me. Okay? There are some demographic changes, environmental problem, geopolitical issues, and something like that. Something like that. But when you call this a trend, that means it has been accepted by many stakeholders. It is already known factors. Okay? So knowing the global trend or knowing the trend is important, but more important is how the trend going to changing. That is more important. Nothing can be permanent, everlasting forever. Everything is changing. Only constant is the change, isn't it? That's what you see. So true foresight or futurist, their capability depends on not spotting the trend, but spotting when the trend is changing. It's more important. I guess that in the previous slide, I show you the demographic change of the Thailand. I do not know how the government has some family policies, but in South Korean case, the children born in 1970 is the 1 million. Okay, in South Korean case, right now it's about 0.35. So 350,000 children is born every year. So down to a third compared with the 1970s. That's why we do have the total fertility rate as the 1.18. But government still have the policy to having 2 children per family until middle of 90s. About middle of 80s, the total fertility rate go below 2.0. So you have to change the policies. But they still continue to do so until middle of 90s. That's why we see the so rapid demographic changes. I guess Thailand may be the similar case. Two countries just follow the same trend. So, summary of this slide, spotting trend is the one thing, but spotting changing of the trend is another business, and that is more important. Do you want to interpret?
Oh, okay. Just add a little bit here. Can you go back one slide, please? โอเคนะครับเมื่อกี้ที่เขายกตัวอย่างให้ฟังนะครับว่ามันมีหลายประเทศเขาทำ horizontal scanning นะครับถ้าถามผมก็เราก็ไม่สามารถจะไปดาวน์โหลดมาศึกษาได้นะครับแล้วก็ออกมาดูว่าแต่ละที่เขามองเทคโนโลยีต่างๆกันยังไงนะครับเขาบอกว่าในรีพอร์ตเนี่ยนะครับก็จะแบ่งกลุ่มออกเป็นพวก weak signal ก็คืออาจจะเพิ่งเริ่มต้นเริ่มโผล่เข้ามานะครับแล้วก็จะมีอะไรจาก weak signal เนี่ยก็จะเป็น emerging issue นะครับคืออะไรที่เริ่ม serious แล้วนะครับเริ่มมีความเป็นไปได้สูงนะครับสุดท้ายก็มาเป็นแนวโน้มนะครับแต่แนวโน้มเนี่ยบางครั้งมันก็ไม่ได้มาเรียงแบบนี้หรอกบางครั้งก็จะมี wild card คือโผล่มาจากไหนไม่รู้เข้ามานะครับเข้ามาเป็นเรื่องใหญ่ขึ้นมานะครับก็อะไรต่างๆเหล่านี้นะครับมันก็จะมีทิศทางของมันนะครับซึ่งผมว่าตัวสไลด์เขาดีมากนะก็คือเราจะได้รู้ว่าประเทศไทยอาจจะไม่มีหรอกแต่ว่าเราก็ไปอ่านประเทศอื่นมาได้นะครับบวกกับประเทศไทยเข้าไปผมว่าเราก็ได้ความรู้ดีในการที่จะหาข้อมูลต่างๆเหล่านั้นนะครับ Can you move next slide please นะครับแล้วเขาก็พยายามจะบอกว่าสิ่งที่สำคัญที่สุดของการวิเคราะห์แนวโน้มเนี่ยไม่ใช่ว่าดูว่าตัวไหนมีเทรนด์แต่มองว่าตรงไหนมันจะเปลี่ยนนะครับถ้าใครเล่นหุ้นจะรู้เนาะมันขึ้นไปสูงสุดจะทิ้งหุ้นอย่างก็ใช่ไหมหรือจะบอลท็อปนะครับนั่นคือไอเดียนะครับว่าจริงสิ่งที่สำคัญที่สุดในเรื่องของเทรนด์เนี่ยนะครับคือว่ารู้ว่าจุดเปลี่ยนอยู่ตรงไหนนะครับเพื่อที่จะได้ไปทำอะไรต่างๆได้นะครับแล้วเขาก็เลยยกตัวอย่างของเรื่องของสังคมผู้สูงอายุของเขานะครับซึ่งผมเองลืมพูดอะไรเมื่อกี้อย่างของเราเนี่ยที่เราคุยกันว่าประเทศไทยเนี่ยก็รู้มานานแล้วสังคมผู้สูงอายุเราไม่ค่อยทำอะไรถ้าจำได้นะตอนผมเด็กๆนะจะเคยได้ยินเรื่องสิงคโปร์บอกลีกุนยูนี่เป็นไงจับคนแต่งงานจัดหานึกออกใช่ไหมพยายามให้คนแต่งงานให้มีลูกนึกออกใช่ไหมเราก็ชอบแซวเขาว่ามันเป็นเผด็จการชิบเป๋งเลยสิงคโปร์นึกออกใช่ไหมแต่ที่ไหนได้ปรากฏว่าอะไรผมว่าเขา take action เนาะนะของเราไม่ค่อยทำอะไรนะครับมันก็เลยมีปัญหาอย่างนั้นโอเค I just add a little bit extra gossip what Singapore what Lee Kuan Yew do okay no they try to what can I say put in action when they see the population is going down they realize the trend so they try to set up the marriage they try to set up the what can I say a maid meeting in particular if you are like a graduate student who get the master degree something like that they will have a party and then they reduce the tax if you married between the two if you have kids you have extra incentive, something like that. So I would say they are quite good in terms of action, in terms of post-spot that one. In Thailand, we do nothing, basically. Okay.
So here is the x-axis time. Currently, we accept the dominant trend, but as time goes on, some are stay here, but some are just go down, go away. Isn't it? It's always. Something is just not dominant, is the emerging and going to be dominant in the mid-term futures, also die away. Third one, weak signals here, and the longer terms going to be dominant. This is the way of the nature works. We just believed this one going to continue. In the first part of my talk, this continued growth is that we believed current assumptions or condition going to last, isn't it? But that's not the case, isn't it? So it's better for you to divide the future into three categories. The short terms, horizon 1. This is the horizon 2. I guess I just cut and paste it. Long spelling. Horizon 2 and horizon 3. This is the short or mid or longer terms. But when you make the strategy, what we do normally is the starting from here and extrapolating to the horizon 2, assuming current formula is still working. But strategic foresight tell the different story. You shoot this way, starting from the horizon 1 and go to the futures far longer than, and then come back to the horizon 2. This is the area what the strategy means. This is your business as usual, short-term ones, maybe 1 or 2 years, less than 3 years. This might be longer than your terms, maybe 10 years, 30 years. So instead of starting horizon 1 and horizon 2, you have to start from the horizon 1 and then go to the long horizon 3 and have to be back to horizon 2. This is the where the strategy matter. The most importantly, this cross point, you have to be wary about. The trend is changing. Okay? So that's why horizon scan is nearly important to give the signal which point this trend is across each other's. And when you make a strategy, you have to see not the mid-term, but starting from the longer term and get back to the mid-term areas. Without this one, we just following the extrapolation of the current main dominant trend.
Okay. Can I?
Oh, question is, what is the time horizon for these ones? What is the, okay, you are the CEO of some company, private companies. For example, Samsung or ones. What year is the meaning for him is the long futures? What year? How many time horizon means to long? 5 years, what he says. Yeah, you are right. For the companies, 5 is the long futures. For them, short term is the less, maybe about 18 months maximum. The 3 to 5 years is the mid-terms. For 5 years, the long futures, never realized. But if you change the context, for a government, for long means the more than 10 years, I guess. Sometimes if you're dealing with some population, demographic issues, the time horizon goes to 1 generation, 30 years. If you're dealing with some land use, something like that, 100 years. That's the case of the United Kingdoms. They do have the future of land use. Their time horizon is 100 years. Okay, let's give a little bit more examples. Okay, you are the CEO of the automobile companies, and the CEO ordered the peoples, why don't you make future of automobiles, but future of sedan is the one of topics, and the second topic is the future of the truck. My question is the time horizon for sedan might be different with the future of the trucks. How do you think? It's the same one. How long do you own this sedan? But depends on. But I'm quite sure you're driving truck longer than the sedans. So future of the truck is different with the future of sedans. That means your time horizon is different for Foresight project. So one of the, not the rule of some, but based on some experience, one of the key decisions is to take the time horizon, which is depends on life cycle of the product, service, or concept. So goes on some structures or infrastructure longer, but maybe twice, 2 times or 1.5 times. But it should be longer than your term. For example, national vision building, but time horizon, let's say the term of the prime minister or president 5 years, you should go further than that. So 10 years. If you time horizon less than 5 years, we call it the planning, not the foresight. Less than 5 years, you have the power to actually execute. So this one should have the concrete action plans. We call it plannings. For foresight, go further than this one, which be decided by life cycle, normally twice or 3rd times than this one, or depends on context. This is just a rule of thumb based on experience. Can you interpret or just?
Yeah, I can continue to interpret. So อันนี้เขาแนะนำนะครับว่า time frame ในการดีไซน์เนี่ยนะครับแบ่งเป็น3ส่วนนะครับก็คือระยะสั้นระยะกลางระยะยาวเขาบอกว่าระยะสั้นเนี่ยไม่ต้องพูดถึงนะครับก็คือสิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นในปัจจุบันนะครับแต่เขาบอกว่าที่เราจะต้องดูคือไปดู long term ไกลๆนะครับแต่พอดู long term แล้วที่ไปดู foresight แล้วเนี่ยกลับเข้ามาทำ strategy ใน horizon ที่2คือตรงกลางนะครับพูดง่ายๆก็คือดูภาพรวมยาวๆนะครับแล้วกลับมาคิดว่าเราต้องทำ strategy อะไรเพื่อทำให้เกิดภาพรวมยาวๆตัวนั้นนะครับนี่คือที่มาของไอ้ลูกศรสีแดงกลับเข้ามาตรงนี้นะครับแล้วก็คุณรันดีฟก็ถามเขาว่าแล้วไอ้ time frame เนี่ยเวลาของแต่ละ horizon เป็นยังไงนะครับเขาก็บอกว่าขึ้นอยู่กับถ้าเป็นบริษัทเอกชนบอก5 ปีนี่ก็ยาวมากแล้ว horizon ที่3นะครับนะหรือบางทีก็ขึ้นอยู่กับอายุของผลิตภัณฑ์เขาบอกเขายกตัวอย่างเมื่อกี้รถซีดานก็คือรถ4 ประตูที่เราขับรถเก่งนี่แหละกับเทียบกับอะไรรถบรรทุกนึกออกใช่ไหมรถบรรทุกเนี่ยพูดง่ายๆคือรถซีดานจะเปลี่ยนบ่อยหน่อยแฟชั่นมันสูงหรือเราใช้ 4-5 ปีก็เปลี่ยนแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดรถบรรทุกใช่ไหมซื้อมาบริษัทซื้อที10 ปีไม่เปลี่ยนเลยซ่อมอยู่นั่นแหละนะครับประมาณนั้นมันก็ขึ้นอยู่กับตัวผลิตภัณฑ์นะครับเขาก็จะบอกหลายอย่างแต่เขาก็ไปเปรียบเทียบกับ political term นะครับอย่างเช่น president ของโคเรียเนี่ย5 ปีใช่ไหมเขาบอกกัน long term ก็10 ปีละกันสัก2 เท่านะครับก็มาเปรียบเทียบประเทศไทยรัฐบาลเรา4 ปีเนาะก็8 ปีอะไรอย่างนั้นแต่ว่ารัฐธรรมนูญเราล่อไป20เลยนะครับ strategy ของเราวางไปแต่ก็อาจจะบวกการช้านะกว่าจะจากกระดาษไปเป็นงบประมาณจากงบประมาณไปเป็นจัดซื้อจัดจ้างก็ประมาณนั้นแหละก็ประมาณนั้นก็แปลว่า foresight ของรัฐบาลไทยในรัฐธรรมนูญก็ถูกอยู่แล้วยัง20 ปีนี่แหละว่ามันต้องถอยกลับมาว่าแล้วจะเป็น strategy อะไรเท่านั้นเองนะครับมันแค่มองข้างหน้าโอเคครับ that's it
Okay. So sense making here, anyway you are learning your own foresight, but as I told you, your context is the matter. So some trend can be positive for you, but some trend can be negative. For example, if you have some rescue set, manufacturer of the rescue set, for example, Fukushima accident is a nearly sad thing to the Japanese people, but you own the company who make these rescue packages. It's opportunity to you. So it depends on your positions. Something can be opportunity, something can be threat. Also, you have to know down the global trend, the changing environment, make a meaning to your organizations or your project. Starting from the global trend, some Asian trend, some of the Asian trend does not follow the global trend, definitely, isn't it? Also, Thai trend, the same. Do not just follow the global trend, but trying to make it contextualize under the UN circumstance. So let's move on to the last part of my presentations. A little bit, because I'm the engineer, okay, starting from the technology background, and then this topic of workshop is digital economist, but in core, the driver for new digital economy is basically acceleration of technologies. We call the digitization. Okay? Everything you can convert to 0 to 1. Originally starting from some physical ones can be converted. Right now, human activities, some cognitions changing to the 0 to 1s. So some of my idea. This is the typical example you can find in the Googles. It's the St. Peter's case in the Rome. It's a 2005. Someone has the small ones, but many of them just watching the Pope, something like that. It's the 2013. What happened in between? 2007, the iPhone come to place. Just 8 years later, this is you see the tectonic change in the technological areas. It's quite normal to you right now, but if you come back to past 10 years ago, everything is new. It's an extreme event to you, to the societies. You just accept it as a normal, but it's amazing, isn't it? What does the technology means? There are many definitions. But technology, the main impact is losing the constraint. There's some temporal restraint or some special restraint and some relation restraint, but technology losing the constraint. Okay? That makes possible which was impossible, or which was economically not feasible, but it makes it feasible through the technologies. For smartphone case, it's the combining of the navigations and the camera industries, music industries, definitely communication industries, advertisement, everything is combined together just the one motions. It's not the communication tool, it's a small computer, including everything. That is the difference between the Nokia and Apple. Nokia already starting the smartphone 1995. They do have the many patents about these smartphone technologies. But what they see, this phone, as a communication tools, not the smart computers. Apple C is different. Communication is just one of the functions. He adding other platforms. It acts as the small computer, combining everything. So it loses the constraint. I defined some data For example, supercomputer at 1975, it cost about 5 million US dollars, which has the same functionality as the iPhone 4, which cost $400. You do have the USB memories. It cost about 35,000 US dollars, 1995. Right now, it costs less than $10. Isn't it? Human Genome Project, it cost about 2.7 billion US dollars. Takes 13 years. It's still faster than 2 years. Or originally it designed to finish the project 15 years, but they finished it 13 years. Right now, 2016, it would cost 1,000 US dollars. This is the accelerations. This is the intangible asset called the knowledge has been doing for last 2 or 3 decades. In the bottom, this is the patent applications starting from the 2000 to 2014. It's the WIPO. It's the accumulated one. But you can see continuous increase. But for knowledge, it does not cost nothing to spread out. You're using it. That's the core essence of the digital economy means. The previous labor or capital is the key element of the national competitiveness. Right now, no more. Still not no more. Still do. But this knowledge asset, knowledge production, dissemination, and exploitation is the key concern for your country's competitiveness. Digital economy means the knowledge economy facilitated by digital technologies. This I got from the World Bank, well, the digital dividend. Here is the spreading out of the new technology here. Old one, it has a large, huge impact in the societal change, but here, since 1990s, you can see that this exponential curves, which is the mobile phones, some internet, and the broadband. How do you explain these ones? I mean, there are many ways, but one of the way to explain is that this K wave, the Kondratiev wave. The capitalism has the waves, different period times, but is the longest one. The slide shows that there's the up and down in terms of stock price since 1800 here, up and down. It was published in 1927 by Nikolai Kondratiev, Russian economist. And I guess he was executed by Stalin about 1930, something like that. And then Schumpeter brought this curve early 1940s, trying to explain why this kind of fluctuation happened. Originally, it's recorded by housing price, the price of the bread, other things. It's not related with any kinds of technology at the beginnings. He's the pure economist. But Schumpeter trying to explain the fluctuation of the capitalistic economy in terms of innovation. So first one is the steam engines, railway, electrifications, automobiles, petrochemicals, and then since 1970s, it's the information technologies. The semiconductor, integrated circuit, or internet was born. Okay? But there's something you have noticed. If technology is good to the economy, there should be monotonic increase in terms of stock price. But somehow the stock price is falling down. You do have this gap. Why? Why? This is the one question. Secondly, how you can move to the one period to the next period. How make it short across these depressions? Another key concerns. Some economists do not agree on, do not like this curve, but someone may is the good way to explain long ones. Some military personnel also interested. Why? Every time this curve going up, there is a war. Yeah, there is a war. If you go to NATO, they do have their percussion on this long wave phenomenon. The wave is upward, the economy expand. They're trying to find the market. That's why imperialistic invasion to the small country or other ones happen in the histories. But from the outside, our side, why this deepening, the burst of the stock market happen? And secondly, it's related with this financial crisis, 2007, may have some resemblance to the other ones. So there might be possibility to go to the next wave, because each wave has about time period of about 60 years, 50 to 60 years. First thing, why this one burst, the bubble burst, I should explain this ways. Normally people believed technology itself may help the economy competitive or expand. But that's not the case. Having technology, I mean creation of technology, knowledge is the one thing. But exploiting is the different stories. It should combine, this is the knowledge here, is the technology knowledge, but there should be people outside who research, who make it. There should be a market demand here. Okay, somebody should buy it. The consumer should be there. Somebody should put the money there. Also, there should be an institution, something like intellectual property, some organization rules. Also, there's a competition outside. So, to be successful for technology, you have all of them. So we call it, it's the innovation policies. Only for knowledge creations, we call it research policies. It is about inventions, make new things. But innovation is exploiting the knowledge and make money. So quite simple. You have the money and invest it. The output is technology. It's a research policy. Normally government driven or research has involving. But other way around, from technology to the make money, we call it innovations. Enterprise has the key role converting technology into the monies. Altogether is called innovations. So digital economy is exactly the same as the innovation policy area, which combining fiscal policies, education policies, the skill policy, research policies, and other things, finance, IPR, everything. Direct output is the productivity which leads to these ones. So it's nearly important to understand dynamics of technology, but that is not enough. You should understand the surrounding environment. If I go back to the previous slide, why this happened? There are some explanations. Okay, if you read the newspaper, there's a saying, new technology comes out, there's a huge economic potentials out there. What happened next? The stock market going to boil. A lot of people invest in to accelerate these ones. But sometime later, the money does not invest on technology. What happened is the money invests on monies. The moral degradation is happened in the market. The tulips in the Netherlands, the IT bubbles in the early 2000s, subprime mortgage here, everything is the money invested on money, not money invested on technologies. So technology dynamics is the goal, development aware, but social institution is the fluctuating. To remember, in the complexity explanation, there is a gap between the subsystems. In this case, gap between the technological system and the social system is the widening and widening and widening. So up to the certain point, this social system, especially the finance system, go bust. That's why you have the deep down of these finance systems. And then what is happening after that? You're going to fix these social systems, institutions, and then make a new progress. The social system does not develop at the same speed as the technologies. So I'm quite believe in exponential development of technologies, but I do not believe social system to follow the same ways. Always the political systems, and then you may see the lot of problems which attach to the almost quite 10 years or 20 years old paradigms at the moment. So key concern is not the technology development. You should focus on more changing in the social systems. It should combine together. They co-evolutions you have to consider. Without those ones, the digital economy you're going to hear about these weeks is not going to happen. Digital economy means that you have to change how you dealing with the business, how you transact your things, how you educate your peoples, how you do the business. Everything you have to changing. Technology is not enough to reaching full potential of digital economies. History tells that. So, there are many cases. I already told you there is a repository to having all the report and something like that, almost 600 cases and more than that. These are a few examples. The OECD is the one of the key player. I guess the World Bank is the same. It's the new products and revolutions. Is the World Bank ones. This is the OECD Going Digital project. Metascans. In German case, it's quite interesting. I mean, I already told you, in German case, it's kind of reactive policy agenda. Originally, technological revolution in the digital technology is starting from the United States. So German feel the kind of threat because they depends on heavily on manufacturing, especially physical ones. So trying to transform their manufacturing to the upper level, combining digital technology. That's why Industry 4.0 comes out. It's originally one of the items, about 10 different high-tech strategy, but they become national agendas. So 2012, you have the Industry 4.0. They changed the name. 2015 is the Platform Industry 4.0. So more focused on cyber physical systems, something like that, manufacturing. But more importantly, I nearly want to focus on two other following projects. One is the Arbeiten 4.0, is the work 4.0. Without changing in the work, nature of work, this one not going to be realized. So what I understand, this one is the handled by Minister of Labor, also some union. It's a combined jobs. And then followed by Learning 4.0 is education 4.0. So in German context, initially starting from the technology, but they combined with work and then learning and education. It come all together. Okay? The meaning, technology is not enough. You have to think about how your social systems evolve, co-evolve at the same times. This one is like from the McKinsey. Okay, there are many reports from the consulting firms. These are just a few examples, but combining all together. So this is my end of talks, but I have some few slides about what is happening in South Korea. If you wanted to,
sure, you can show it first. I summarize the end.
All right. This is I already told you we do have the new president last May. So it's been 6 months. Okay. So something happened. Slide is a little bit, but first one is the export, Korean export, deep down and recoveries. The next one is the credit to the household. It's a huge, yeah. And this one is the export performance, which is leveling down. The China is the always uprising, I mean, here. But we are export driven, but it's leveling down here. Also, credit to the household rising rapidly. This is what South Korea faced at the moment. Also, potential GDP growth is going slow down. Yeah. There are many ways to explain economic development, but typical way is the economic growth depends on labor, how many people is working. Secondly, capital, okay, the machinery, something like that. And thirdly, rest of them, we call it is the total factor productivities. Okay, it cannot be measured, but normally it's related with the technologies or innovation issues. So if I go back to the South Korea case, we do have the aging problems. So labor contribution going to be negative. For capital contributions, we do have a lot of investment last decade to having machineries. Okay? So there's a little rooms contributed by capital at the moment. The biggest decrease is that these productivities, which is related with technological development, with innovations. We are quite successful until now, kind of catching up the leading countries. But moving to the next level is totally different stories. The decreasing in the potential GDP growth mostly caused by the technological development, innovation issues. I believe Thailand is the same. Your demographic change is quite similar to the South Korea. You can improve by education or skill education the quality of the labor, or you can have the more room to some capital contributions. But more importantly, this total factor contribution, productivity, comes from technology is more important to having long-term sustaining development. So somehow quite similar between two countries. They're interesting. So this is a typical slide we're trying to show. This is the how we achieved. There is a 2S curve here. Until now, some urbanizations or some industrializations. Some urbanization in South Korea is right now almost 90s. Probably Thailand a little lower than that. I mean, 90% of the Korean population living in the cities at the moment. Some fast follow strategies, some bureaucrat capable, some internalization of technologies, investment on education, also big conglomerate, one of the key components to explain Korean development. Until now. We strongly suspect this not going to sustain anymore. Probably we are worrying too much. Okay. But we are really worrying about. The statistics is quite good. But internally, the country quite become pessimistic. So, here is the problem I already told you. Demographic cliff. China is the big concern. Originally, it was the market, but right now become a competitor. Household debt. North Korea. Gosh. We don't have any tools or leverage to handle North Korea. During the lunchtime, we are talking about Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. The Olympic held just the border between North and South. Because at that place, we do have the snow. So we are quite immune to the threat or tensions. But from the outside view, it's almost about to war breaking. Oh, that's not the case. Quite different perspective on the North Korea. But big problem is we do not have leverage about North Korea. So kind of Korean discount happened. This threat. It's been almost 60 years. We are separate between North and South. So some of countries are just following, some countries are falling down here. Russia, Brazil, maybe China just following. Originally 10 years ago they are here, but going fast. Some area quite faster than. And then Japan or United Kingdom were moving to the another cycles. Normally there is some technological shocks. I'm trying to explain digital economies. There are many shocks, but definitely this digitization enabled digital economy boost up another S curve. We don't know. Following this track or following this way. But another problem to your countries, you may face the two shocks. Okay? One is the industrializations, maybe based on catch-ups, but at the same time, you may face another big shocks due to by these digitizations. You have to solve the same different problem. It was originally happened time sequentially, but right now you faced shock at the simultaneously. The problem become more difficult. Some activities. Government about to having innovation-driven growth. First one. Secondly, they newly relaunching the Ministry of Science and ICT. Originally, they do have the name here, but this function go to the Ministry of State and Finance back. Okay. Also, the enforcement office of STI, Science, Technology, Innovation for policy coordinations. Also, we do have the new ministry. It's named Ministry of SME and Startup. It was the bureau, just the one down below, not the ministry, but we do have the ministerial level to having these ones. Formerly, it's a small and medium enterprise. Also, there are two activities. Committee for the Post-Industrial Revolution is that under President's office is newly launching. dealing with the digital economies. Also, enhancing Presidential Advisory Committee for STI, SNT. They do have the power to ex-ante evaluation of the state project programs, portfolio arrangement. So, this is what the South Korea is dealing with is digital economy or digital shocks. I guess I'm done here.
Okay.
So after interpretation, I get a Q&A.
Well, first of all, let's ตบมือเลยครับ Okay. So now help me a little bit. Can you move the slide back up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like go. Okay, just move one further. Just one further. Just one.
Next one. One more.
Yeah, just go to definition of the science technology. So no, move forward.
One more.
Forward one more. Okay, let me start here. Okay, จริงๆอันเนี้ยเมื่อเช้าที่คุณรานีพูดถึงใช่ไหมให้ดูข้างๆ call center เราพูดถึง convergence ใช่ไหมครับการที่มันเบลอขึ้นนะครับอันนี้ก็คือ conclusion เดียวกันนะครับก็คือสรุปเดียวกันก็คือว่าผลกระทบของเทคโนโลยีเนี่ยนะครับมันทำให้ข้อจำกัดหลายๆอย่างเนี่ยมันหายไปนะครับมันเกิดความเป็นไปได้ในหลายๆเรื่องเกิดขึ้นนะครับวันนี้ให้มองให้เห็นภาพตรงนั้นนะครับว่าเทคโนโลยีเนี่ยเกิดได้วันนี้อาจจะเป็นไปไม่ได้วันข้างหน้าเป็นไปได้มากขึ้นนะครับผมโอเค Can you next one slide please โอเคอันนี้ก็พูดให้ฟังถึงเรื่องของการเปลี่ยนแปลงนะครับว่ามันผลกระทบมันนะครับรวดเร็วต่างๆนะครับ Can you move fast a little bit Let's go move one further Okay so this one you spend a lot of time here คือเขาก็พยายามจะบอกว่ามันก็มีไซเคิลของมันนะครับเทคโนโลยีการเปลี่ยนแปลงนะครับส่วนที่สำคัญเขาก็จะบอกว่าไอ้ช่วงที่ขึ้นแล้วก็ช่วงที่ลงนะครับไอ้ช่วงที่ลงเนี่ยที่เขาพยายามจะบอกว่าเขาบอกว่าช่วงที่ขึ้นนักการทหารชอบเพราะว่าอะไรสุดท้ายก็จะเกิดสงครามนะครับแล้วก็มีคำถามต่อว่าถ้าเทคโนโลยีดีจริงเนี่ยทำไมมันไม่ขึ้นไปเรื่อยๆไม่ขึ้นเป็นลิเนียร์ไปเรื่อยๆถูกไหมครับเพราะเขาบอกว่าเขาสรุปว่าเพราะว่าเนื่องจากเทคโนโลยีมันพัฒนาไปก็จริงแต่อันนึงที่ต้องดูก็คืออะไรการพัฒนาทางสังคมนะครับเขาบอกว่าเขาเชื่อว่าไอ้เทคโนโลยีเนี่ยจะถูกพัฒนาเป็น exponentially คือกราฟชันๆมันจะไปเร็วเทคโนโลยีมันจะไปเร็วนะครับแต่การพัฒนาทางสังคมเป็นไงมันไม่ได้เร็วเหมือนเทคโนโลยีนะครับฉะนั้นจุดที่มันต่ำของเขาเนี่ยก็คือจุดที่การพัฒนาทางเทคโนโลยีมันไปได้ไกลแต่การพัฒนาทางสังคมเป็นไงมันตามไม่ทันแล้วมันเหมือนกับห่างกันพอสักพักหนึ่งก็จะเกิดปัญหาขึ้นก็จะเกิด recession เกิดอะไรต่างๆขึ้นมานะครับก็เป็นเรื่องของเทคโนโลยีอย่างที่เขาพยายามจะเล่าวิกฤตเรื่อง financial crisis คัมเบอร์เกอร์ตรงนั้นเนี่ยก็เกิดจากการทำนวัตกรรมทางการเงินที่มันซับซ้อนมากเกินไปนะครับพยายามที่จะเอาเงินต่อเงินไปเรื่อยมันก็เลยเกิดบัสออกมานะครับก็จะเป็นเรื่องธรรมดาตรงนี้เพราะฉะนั้นเขาก็เลยเสนอ solution นะครับ Can you move next slide นะครับเขาบอก solution เนี่ยว่าเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยการพัฒนาเทคโนโลยีอะไรก็ตามเนี่ยนะครับในมุมมองของเขาเนี่ยนะครับเพื่อทำให้อะไรนะสังคมเนี่ยมันไปตามได้เนี่ยเพราะฉะนั้นก็จะต้องมีนะครับแน่นอนมีองค์ประกอบตัวแรกที่เขาไล่ไว้ว่า knowledge ก็คือนโยบายทางการวิจัยแต่สุดท้ายก็ต้องมีนโยบายทางด้านอะไรครับการพัฒนาคนทักษะสกิลใช่ไหมครับต้องมีการทำนโยบายด้านอะไรด้านตลาดทำดีมานด์นะครับต้องดูเรื่องการเงินต้องดูสถาบันนะครับถึงจะรวมกันนะครับแล้วกลายเป็นอะไรเอาไปช่วยในการต่อยอด productivity ได้คือพูดง่ายๆไม่ใช่แค่นโยบายเทคโนโลยีอย่างเดียวนะครับจริงถ้าจะแปลกันง่ายๆสกิลไม่ต้องพูดถึงพัฒนาคนใช่ไหมครับเราดูว่าผมสนใจอย่างดีมานด์ในเราคุยกันเนี่ยมันเยอะออร์แกนิกไม่ออกใช่ไหมดีมานด์อยู่ตรงไหนอะว่าใช่ไหมถูกไหมว่าเป็นยังไงเราจะต้องบังคับให้ใครซื้อกินกันป่ะเนี่ยให้ข้าวออร์แกนิกอะไรต่างๆหรือเปล่าที่จะสร้างดีมานด์อะไรก็ว่ากันไปตรงนั้นแต่ว่าคือทั้งหลายทั้งปวงเนี่ยเขาพยายามบอกว่าเพราะฉะนั้นการที่จะทำให้เขาถึงเรียกว่า innovation policy นโยบายนวัตกรรมนะครับเพื่อทำให้สังคมมันเป็นไงครับมันต่อไปพร้อมกันได้ก็เพื่อหวังว่าจะอะไรหลีกเลี่ยงการเกิดไอจุดต่ำสุดของไซเคิลทุกครั้งนะครับ Can you move next slide please โอเคอันนี้เขาก็ยกตัวอย่างให้ดูนะครับจากForesightแต่ว่าเขาเล่าให้ฟังเสริมตรงนี้ว่ากรณีของรัฐบาลเยอรมันเนี่ยIndustrial 4.0 ออกมาโอเคเมื่อกี้เราคุยกันแล้วว่าเขารัฐบาลอเมริกาก็เห็นเหมือนกันว่าจะมีผลกระทบเรื่องของเซอร์วิสต่างๆเขาพยายามจะอินทิเกรตเข้าไปแต่เขาบอกว่ารัฐบาลอเมริการัฐบาลเยอรมันเนี่ยทำต่ออีก2เรื่องนะก็คือไอ้อันที่เราอ่านไม่ออกเนี่ยก็คือไอ้อันสีเทาๆอันล่างเนี่ย ก็คือเรื่องของ work คือการทำงานในแบบ 4.0 ก็คือเรื่องของสกิลเมื่อกี้แหละที่ต้องคุยขึ้นมาจะต้องทำขึ้นมาใช่ไหมครับแล้วรัฐบาลเยอรมันก็ไปดูต่อเรื่องของการเรียนรู้ก็คือไอ้ตัวที่3อันล่างเนี่ยอ่านว่าอะไรเนี่ย Layman 4.0 เนี่ยนะครับก็คือ learning การเรียนรู้ใช่ไหมครับก็คือว่าจะต้องทำต่ออีกเพราะฉะนั้นรัฐบาลเยอรมันไม่ได้จบที่เที่ยว 4.0 กับต่อด้วย work 4.0 แล้วก็ learning 4.0 นะครับว่าจะต้องทำยังไงซึ่งอันนี้ก็เป็นเรื่องทางสังคมที่จะต้องต่อยอดตรงนั้นนะครับตอบโจทย์ที่เขาบอกตรงนั้นขึ้นมา Can you move next slide please Okay and then one more slide เขาก็เล่าให้ฟังถึงเกาหลีนะครับว่ากำลังอยู่ในช่วงรอยต่อยังไง Can you move next slide อันนี้เขาพยายามจะชี้ให้เห็นว่าเกาหลีเองก็มีปัญหานะครับอันนึงที่ผมชื่นชมเขาตรงนี้แหละนะครับว่าเขาพยายามจะเล่าถึงว่าปัญหาของเราประเทศไทยไม่ค่อยพูดถึงปัญหาเลยเกาหลีนี่เราว่าเจ๋งมากเนี่ย I tell you actually in Thai people we think Korean is good very good เขาก็อย่างที่บอกนักวิเคราะห์คือผมกำลังบอกให้ฟังนี้ว่า strategic thinking เนี่ยบางครั้งเนี่ยมันค่อนข้างจะถูกฝึกให้มองโลกในแง่ร้ายเหมือนกันนะครับเพื่ออะไรเพื่อจะเห็นปัญหาถูกไหมที่เราคุยกันว่าเรื่องจะเป็นปัญหานะครับเขาก็โชว์ให้คุณเห็นว่าเนี่ยมันก็เป็นอิชชูของมันอยู่ที่ว่าจะต้องแก้ไขยังไงที่พยายามจะ reverse trend ให้ได้นะครับพยายาม move one more slide นะครับแล้วก็อธิบายให้เห็นนะครับว่าตอนนี้เกาหลีเนี่ยกำลังอยู่ที่จุดเปลี่ยนเลยนะครับจะเกิดดิจิตอลช็อคไหมคือไหลลงมาหรือจะไปแล้วเขาบอกว่าอเมริกาอังกฤษเนี่ยค่อนข้างจะไปแล้วญี่ปุ่นเนี่ยกำลังจะเริ่มไหลลงนะครับกำลังจะเริ่มไหลลงแล้วเขาก็โชว์ให้เห็นอย่างอะไรนะบราซิลรัสเซียนะครับไอ้กลุ่ม BRICS เคยได้ยินชื่อไหมกลุ่ม BRICS นะครับแต่ว่าไชน่าเนี่ยก็ยังมันมองกันอยู่นะครับแต่จริงๆโดยส่วนตัวถ้าถามผมนะอันนี้นอกเรื่องเกี่ยวกับเขาแล้วผมว่าไชน่าไปไกลกว่านั้นนะครับมันน่าจะไปกันเพราะว่าเทคโนโลยีเขาก็พัฒนาเราก็จากที่เราเรียนกันมาเราก็เห็นกันอยู่นะครับคราวนี้เขาก็ชี้ให้เห็นนะครับแล้วเขาก็น่ารักมากเขาก็ชมประเทศไทยว่าน่าจะไปแบบเดียวกันโอ้โหเราแบบเกาหัวแก่ๆนะเกาหลีนะ so I say that with thanks to you that you give a lot of compliment to Thai but actually we sort of like okay when you are worry we are double worry about the Thai future okay and เขาก็บอกว่าเราจะมีปัญหาเรื่องไอ้ demographic อันนั้นมีแน่นี่หรอกใช่ไหมแต่เรายังมีปัญหาเรื่องอะไรนะเทคโนโลยีอะไรต่างๆอีกนะครับ Can you move next slide นะครับแล้วเขาก็คุยกันเรื่องของนโยบายของเขานะครับมีการเปลี่ยนแผน Can you move one more next slide เขาก็มี SME นะครับขึ้นมาที่เป็นไฮไลท์นะแค่จะบอกให้ฟังว่า SME ของเขาเนี่ยคือไฮเทคนะของเรา SME คืออะไรผมไม่แน่ใจไม่บอกใช่ไหมแต่ว่าเวลาเราดู SME ของแต่ละประเทศมันจะไม่เหมือนกันนะ SME นิยามมันไม่เหมือนกันนะครับแต่ว่าจะเห็นว่าความสำคัญของ SME ก็มีเหมือนกันนะครับถ้าจะเป็นเทรนด์ของฟิวเจอร์นะครับเรื่องของ SME นะครับแล้วเขาก็จะมีพูดถึงเรื่องคณะกรรมการต่างๆเรื่อง funding นะครับ Did you start to add more complexity in the system Did you start to add complexity in the system now
Unfortunately, no. I mean, it's quite difficult for a government to embrace the complexity in their policy makings. I guess only Singapore has tried to embrace, but most governments just based on linear-based models. Yeah,
okay.
Not easy.
Okay. โอเคครับขอเสียงตบมือให้หน่อยครับผม
Any questions or comment?
มีคำถามไหมครับใช่ good question มีคำถามไหมครับมีคำถามไหมคำถามอยู่นั้นถามมาก่อนครับถามภาษาอังกฤษได้เลย
Thanks for your present. I just appreciate what you said about the technology system. It's not cope with the social system that got the problem. In Thailand, we also have this problem. Many people are excluded from the technology advance, and they don't interested in develop anymore. And we also worried about that group of people. So the government just said that we have to go together. But how can we do for the excluded people, that group that we would like to bring them together?But we don't know how to do. And what another thing is the problem that we meet is the young generation. They just like spend the most of their life in the technology without any concern about human life. just like the social is just broken, the family broken, and we got a lot of problem about the relationship of the human being in the society. The elderly, the young generation, some of the disabled people, they are not taking care enough from the young generation. They just don't care anything about everyone in the society. So do you have any just like some good suggestion for our country to solve this problem? Thanks.
Answer is no. I mean, I guess I didn't read the one of the here, the human-centric and the pair competitions, and some income rate growth is the wage rate growth. The reason why the new government or new president elected was due to these reasons. The previous one is the kind of progress without any considering this inclusiveness of the societies. There are a lot of corruption, something like that. So without protest from the poor or disabled, the government will not change. There's no way to solving the problem before it become a problem. So something become a problem means you have to argue about. This is the problems, okay? So that's the one thing. So I mean, that's the trend to go to some inclusiveness is the key agenda for advanced country, which is narrowing down the gap, disparities, but government never take initiative voluntarily without any input from some politics, some elections, other things. So actually same is happening in South Korea. Right now the policy, the goal is a shift from pro-growth only to the co-evolution of the society and then economy, I guess. Secondly, the youngsters' problems, we do see the same problems. I mean, right now, each family has only one kid at best. Some newlywed people does not want to have their own. They try to enjoy present life, don't care about future generations, and then let them play whatever they want, most like gaming industry like that. But I have no knowledge about no way to attack these problems. We do know this is a problem, but government or society not dealing with these problems. So I'm sorry, that's why.
เดี๋ยวผมสรุปคำตอบเขาอีกทีจริงคำตอบเขาว่าดีนะครับเขาว่าจริงรัฐบาลเกาหลีเนี่ยก็เริ่มแล้วใช่ไหมครับที่จะไม่เน้นเรื่องของการเติบโตมากนะครับแต่พยายามจะเน้นเรื่องของเนี่ย human centric เนี่ยนะครับแล้วก็ framework condition for fair competition นะครับคือการแข่งขันอย่างยุติธรรมนะครับก็หมายถึงว่าเขาพยายามที่จะทำให้ระบบมันก็เรียกอะไรนะถ้าเป็นศัพท์ของเราเนี่ยก็คืออะไรนะ sustainable ก็คืออะไรนะแปลเป็นไทยว่าอะไรนะการเติบโตอย่างยั่งยืนมากขึ้นนะครับนั่นคือทิศทางของรัฐบาลเกาหลีที่เขาสรุปออกมาให้นะครับส่วนปัญหาอย่างอื่นก็คล้ายๆกันนะครับfuture generation หรืออะไรนะครับผมแอดต่อเข้าไปผมว่าตอนเด็กๆพ่อผมก็ด่าผมอย่างนี้แหละว่ามันจะโตขึ้นมาทำอะไรวะนี่ก็ใช่ไหมเราก็โตขึ้นมาอย่างนี้แล้วเราก็ด่า generation ของเราต่อไปมันคงจะมีวิธีไปนะครับแต่ว่าโอเค next question
I want to know more about your foresight for the Korean perspective. You say that you are in the critical junctions, right? Could you give me more for the foresight result in the like a best case, worst case, and the best case scenario for Korea? Give me more about that because for the first slide that you mentioned about the GDP growth without any development as Thailand and Korea, you say that Korea is gonna be the ranking number 18 in 2015, and Thailand gonna be like 25 for that without any development. So I want to see that if for your best case gonna be like what's ranking that Korean expected to be, and that can be claimed as a best case because the baseline that you already focused it about the 18s.
You cannot control the ranking because the most of the GDP in total sum just based on populations. So Indonesia or with a big population country, eventually they're going to develop. So the ranking should be changed. I mean, there is no way for South Korea maintain those level of the ranking 13 or 14s. Maybe Nigeria going to comes in, Indonesia, maybe they do have the 0.3 billions. I don't know the total populations, okay? So we're going to down. Maybe Thailand is the same. One of the biggest factor of difference between Vietnam and Thailand is the population growth. Okay, Vietnam is quite young, but to maintain the current level of the well-being, you have to have the GDP per capita. Okay, we are kind of stagnate at the moment. And then there are many ways to growth component, but two components, the main component, capital and labor, there is no way to improve those. Only comes from technology itself. But South Korean case, the technology quite based on old paradigm, quite physical good. Okay, not based on intangible service or other things. That's the digital economy comes in play. We believed South Korea has lagged behind. Okay, if you're converting those explanation to the Thai context, you do have the kind of double shocks. Okay, you have to first elevate like old agrarian cultures or some small, medium size to have elevate also maybe based on some manufacturings. You do have the service industry also tourism, but definitely have this manufacturing side, which has a lot of spillover effect, more employment, more related to some national competitiveness. But at the same time, the digital shocks gives you another challenges you have to deal with, which may be different characteristic, but at the same times. For Vietnam case, about 10 to 20% of Vietnam export actually comes from Samsung. Yeah. Samsung has their facility in Vietnam, about 300, maybe 200,000 Koreans in Vietnam at the moment. So the rate of industrializations in Vietnam, I guess, much faster than Thailand. I don't know the exact. Their key concern of the Vietnamese government official is the internalization of these capabilities. Right now, you do have the OEM, Samsung, go there, make many of the smartphone and other things, but asking the Samsung to train their people to skill upgrade, also trying to rejuvenate the STI systems and other things. So at the same time, there's a problem maybe Thailand may face at the moment, isn't it? I mean, that's why you do have these workshops. So, but as I told you, they assumed current condition going to continue to valid until 2015. A lot of things are going to change. I mean, according to the traditional, standard economic theory, South Korea never achieved current level of industrializations. It's quite difficult to explain how the South Korea achieved this growth. Maybe half of them by the law, I guess. Yeah, really, time's right. How does Samsung become the world giant in the ICT industries? By the law. Long means the timing is right. For ICT case, maybe late 90s and early 2000s, the paradigm changing from analog to the digitals. So Japanese companies just remain as analog, like Sony televisions, flat panel display by Sanyo is taken over by the Samsung. Samsung more heavily invest on future technologies, but which matching with the changing of the economic frame. Okay, so display become. I mean, in the Sanyo case, they only make a smaller sized, like a monitor-sized LCD TV, but Samsung is the first company who make a TV-sized display one. It's not the technology; it's the processing innovations, not the product innovations. Right now, OLED, organic light emitting diode, Samsung, the small side, occupied the market share about 90%. So investing on future ones, taking a risk, one of the key reasons for South Korea to become the world player in ICT manufacturing, but only physical manufacturing. I'm quite born natural pessimistic. But what might be next? This the big tsunami of this digital technology comes in play. In there's no difference between physical and then service. I mean, intangible and tangible ones. How do you know how this American country FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix also included. Microsoft gone away, so dynamic. So we'll see. I mean, interestingly enough, this digital technology or post-industrial revolution is the forecasted, not happen. It's going to take another 10 or 20 years. So even though technology is out there, they are accelerating, but there's plenty of opportunity how you combine them to make new business models. There's plenty of time, plenty of window opportunities to having economic growth or social well-being. Right now, AI, artificial intelligence, the software is opened. Why? Because they want the data. Okay? But still, there are plenty of business chance out there. Even though core technologies belong to these big American companies, but there are plenty of opportunity, business opportunities out there to make this product. So be patient. I mean, should have some change in the social system, definitely in the government and national levels. But the game is not finished yet. We do have another 10 or 20 years, I believe. That's the same to the South Korea. There are a lot of pessimisms, worrying, too much worrying. I mean, we always worrying about last 50 years.
นะครับ
We'll see.
ก็จริงๆเขาก็ตอบว่าก็กำลังทำอยู่เกาหลีนะครับก็คือเขาชี้ให้เห็นนะครับว่าเขามีปัญหาอะไรอยู่แล้วนะครับก็คือพูดง่ายๆคือมันกำลังจะหมดอายุละเทคโนโลยีที่เขา invest มานะครับเขายังตอบไม่ได้ว่าไปทางทิศไหนนะครับแต่ว่าอย่างน้อยผมว่าเขาก็รู้ว่าเขามีปัญหา นะครับก็เป็นคำตอบที่ดีนะครับมีคำถามไหมครับ
I saw Korean have initiative on the Center for Creative Economy and Innovation. Is it really helpful to drive the new S-curve of Korean? You know that the last president, Mr. President Park, he said the Creative Economy and Innovation Center allow the Korean, correct?
Okay. Do you know the current status of these ones?
That's
Okay.
why I have to-
Okay.
I want to know what's going on.
Okay. The previous president, Ms. Park, actually impeached. She promoted creative economies, and then by the policy tool, we do have the Creative Economy Center in the regional centers, and you asked what's the current status one. The creative economy, the policy agenda is we giving up. I mean, they changed the name to the innovation-driven economies. So creativity is the key element of this one, but this agenda is we just don't follow anymore. So each regional, we do have about 17 creative center regionally. So somehow they convert this creative center to the maker space, also trying to initiate new startups. I mean, right now, the president about to changing the constitutions, the coming election. There's a regional election the next June, and then at the same time, he wanna initiate the constitution change, which provide more power in terms of budget, but then it's the local government. So local government has the more leverage, having their own agenda. Inside of this agenda, this creative center is the killer. There's the many policy schemes at the moment is the technology park, also these creative centers, tech policy, and the many things like it. So kind of too fragmented at the moment. So until probably next June, with a possible constitution change, the regional government may have more power. If they do, without this change in constitution, there is some streamlining of the policy agenda I expected. So currently at the transition stage, we'll see. I mean, we have to see another 2 or 3 months what actually happens. Yes.
Okay. So any question มีคำถามไหมครับถ้าไม่มีก็ขอเสียงตบมือดังๆให้หน่อยครับขอบคุณครับ So you have any you want to talk anything
No, I think
do you want to say anything besides
I just wanted to add just one part on strategic foresight. So I work, I'm located in Singapore, as you know, and Professor Park mentioned about the Center for Strategic Futures in Singapore. And this center is in the Prime Minister's office. And so it is at the highest level in the government, and it is very closely integrated with budgeting and execution. You know, that's an important combination to be able to do horizon scanning, identify opportunities and threats, and then execute on those opportunities and prepare for those threats. So I feel that that's a function which is a very important function and very important going forward, and that is something which Thailand should be considering, and even organizations in the private sector should be looking at strategic foresight in that context. So I just wanted to add that, and maybe I will provide a link to Singapore's future deck. In 2012, they did an exercise on strategic foresight, and they prepared a future deck. And some of the social issues which Khun Dayan was mentioning were actually anticipated as part of that future deck. And how the Singaporeans thought about it is a very interesting study in itself. So I will provide that link.
Yeah,
we will give you some reference material.
send me the link we have the Facebook
Yeah.
and Line so we will
Okay,
post
very
it for
good.
you. Okay.
But thank you very much and very good questions. I hope you enjoyed today's sessions.
Okay.
Thank you.
So see you tomorrow.